Good morning and welcome, catnapped crowd, to the Physgun Fireside 2025 LAN in Denver. The second day approaches and so our playoff structure continues as we enter the upper bracket semi-finals. And I want to have everyone who is at home queue into this wonderful LAN adventure here. I had a stroll through the Botanic Gardens, experienced the view of the Rocky Mountains, and what did I witness in the Denver Art Museum? Oh wait, sorry. Sorry, hello, please, I'm doing an intro. Okay, yeah, sorry. I had to have the fan boss cross by. No, but in the Denver Art Museum there was Witness Gaming EU and AU and like a G6 there here on the server. Also, a personal recommendation from me is the Denver Museum of Nature and Science, where you can take a look at extinct specimens, like Froyotech, because they are in the lower bracket, baby. But so far for the European spies coming in here, we are witnessing like a G6 versus the Balls LAN team. I'm Domato. Samus is here, definitely on site, wink wink, producing this. And we have TurboTaps, who is hopefully having his, microphone so we can hear him. TurboTaps, are you there? What did you like most about Denver so far in person?
The computers and microphone here are awful. I can't get mine to work any at all. But I mean, we'll slip by, we'll work by. I can see why you wanted to use the intro so much there. I had very, very well coordinated with the Megabus, the G6 Megabus Tomato.
Yeah, it was just coincidental, I mean, I just wanted to have it like that, but you know how it is. They are always ruining your intros, but maybe it was a slight hint at what team is taking the lead here as we are starting out on Sunshine. Afterward, we have a product. I haven't had any information on the decider yet, but I will go down the like G6 roster. It will be bot mode on the Scout class, Chris on Pocket Scout, Soapy Meister on the Soldier, Kobe on Soldier as well, Logan on Demo Man, and LOL guy on the Medic Healing class. Turbo, I'm putting you on the spot here. Do you know Balls LAN team's roster?
Oh, don't worry. I know my balls like the back of my hand. Don't worry. Or the let's keep the comparisons there. But over on Ball team, we do have Solemnish and Jay on Scouts. High Five and Dingo will be playing your Soldier classes. Artist is going to be painting a canvas over on the Demoman class. And finally, we've got Zilly on that lovable medic.
Brilliant. I always say I'm more of a person's person, people's person. I don't want to bore people out with statistics. I might do that later on, but what I mostly want to have my eyes peered toward, that at least nominally like a G6 are the top seed here, since they barely dropped any points during the rounds, and in the last winners bracket round 1 they beat the Lake Ferry crew with a 2-0 victory there. And most importantly, in the regular structure, they beat this very team 5-1 in a best of 1 scenario, and they've also slain Witness Gaming EU 5-2. So this is personal now.
Yeah, it seems like they have kind of turned up at LAN to come out as top dog. A lot of people were making murmurs about Witness Gaming EU just because their scrims have been going so well, but scrims is one thing, Sunshine is another. I think we're already going straight into it here on our Sunshine first map.
We definitely do, as Denver has 300 sunshine days per year, but make that to 301 as our very first map unravels here. Artist is entering from the flower area, and the red team was opting a little bit more for the choke side. No one is dying, nothing is happening. They are slowly switching their sides though, like they didn't even enter through flower yet, but Zilly is being bombed!
Yeah, this is atypical mid where teams are going to feel each other a bit more out, but they throw 2 soldiers in. They do get the Demo Man, but that's 2 soldiers spent for 1 measly Demo Man. It's kind of up to Artist to kind of show his big britches here, see if he can kind of use that Demo Man impact to its full degree while they're down 2 soldiers. But keep in mind, losing your soldiers on a long, elongated mid isn't so bad, because they will be coming back pretty quickly if they roll out effectively enough.
It was way more important to have the medic kept alive here. Zilly is now being charged by Chris, but body blocked by Jay, and still dancing about. Jay protects Artist, who is very low on HP, and the Balls LAN team is still coming out on top. It is such a long, drawn-out fight. Finally, now the Uber Force, the trade rather, comes out. The red team, like a G6, that is backing out, and the Ball team, that's a completely different ballpark. They are winning the first mid fight.
Yeah, it's one of the longer mids I've seen on the Sunshine map. They usually, when you start rotating around the mid, you kind of just swap sides, but they swap sides like 3 or 4 times, it felt like. And now we've got a bit of a stalemate. Again, both teams are going to play this very conservative. We're in the upper bracket now. Things are getting quite serious, and if you want the most effective roadmap as a team, you probably want to just kind of, have the simple, shortest route to that grand final. So it starts off with winning this upper bracket.
Oh, definitely, and you also have to keep in mind that like a G6 might be the top dogs here currently, nominally speaking, but on the contrary, those players on Ball LAN team, they've definitely thrown some tantrums up and were an upset team, but now it slows down very methodically. You can see the spam there from the choke, and High Five and Slamnish are opting to this little bit of a side entrance way here on the flower area.
Artist, look at him! He's a creative mastermind. He manages to get Chris just planting stickies, plopping them one by one. I'm surprised Chris isn't kind of like clocking that these stickies are going to be placed at his feet.
And now they're charging through High Five, Soapymeister into the ground on this little bit of a flank, and Logan is caught out.
Yeah, and well, they have to back out through Sneaky over on like a G6. They're going to get that second point, and they're going to hold on to their Uber charges on both teams. Now with 2 players down, this is definitely the sign to go for Ball's team.
Yeah, and that will maybe even be a forced play. We see Slamnish walking over the point, getting some cap time, but ultimately not laying a single hand onto LOL. A guy High Five also clapped down to the ground, and now the second point defense will prove a little bit of a hassle. As you can see, Chris is spotting the stickies. The pipes are still dangerous though, and the pipes come in here. Soapymeister is bombing through.
Oh, that lock and load, it hurts the soul, it hurts the soldiers, as Soapymeister denied out of the sky, and they're just taking a sweet time here. Maybe the best way to cap last is to let them overextend on second.
It's the new theory. If you can't beat them on last, just slay them on the second point, as they simply tore into the enemy team. But you see Dingo now charging onto the opposing team. Slamnish, however, is the first victim of this fight. Now High Five as well, clapped down once more. And amid all of this action, you see the red team very well consolidated their own positions. Also checked every entrance. No hider and no cheeky backcapper to worry about.
Yeah, they're trying to make their way through the shutter door, but they need to pressure Artist just to clear out these stickies, or the scout needs to clear them out so the Logo can get back into the fight. But they may have some backcappers going back, or maybe they just want to go back here over on G6. Didn't feel like there was enough opportunity to be knocked at the door. So now it's settled more into the Balls team's core as they take out the sentry gun, and that should be more than enough reason to at least throw a couple of souls in now.
I mean, it's quite telling that they're not even attempting to push out, even with 2 players down. Now High Five is bombing through and is still surviving. Chris, however, is retaliated as a counter frag, and now the triumvirate of Jay, Zilly and Artist trying to come out on their own top left area did not work, though. Dingo gunned down by the level 1 sentry gun, and once more 2 players on both teams this time around went down.
Yeah, it was kind of spicy for bot mode to actually rebuild the sentry gun during all that push. It's very tempting to, actually they're just going to take the Uber in, get an early kill onto Kobe, but a sentry gun cleaning up a scout, that should never really happen in a game of Team Fortress 2. If you're Ubering in, how is anybody dying so early?
And most importantly, Lolga didn't even pop his Uber. High Five is still hiding though on the wonderful drop-down area there, like through this little bit of a lobby, and eventually that sanctity was not given to Lolga. It also means Zilly has 20% Uber advantage, and they're never able really here to push out Slamnish decently high up, still on the fitness. Dingo controlling and governing his own ground, so very difficult. You can see already backing out again.
Yeah, notice as well, I've seen a lot of demo men having differences about their primary weapon. Some rocking the lock and load, some rocking that iron bomber. Where do you stand in this debate here, Domato?
I mean, I stand, since I'm coming from a different game format that I will not mention here, and people have cried back then over the lock and load all the time. So I will say, use a normal pipe launcher, no, but I mean, honestly, I can see definitely the case for a lock and load. Uber comes in.
Yeah, the Uber's coming in, they're cutting off your state on the matter, and the Uber was in response over on LOL guy, but they're just going to quickly turn around, clean up Dingo, but they've rotated on around the side, they completely blindsided them. That's LOL guy out of the thing, no heals left for poor G6, and there are no stickies on the point either. It's an easy last point if you discount all the other attempts for Ball's team.
You see, GG is so easy, it only takes one push, at least if you have the virtual scissors there to cut your own frag movie out, and then you see we maybe had 3 to 4 pushes beforehand that did not really work, but in contrast, 3 to 4 push outs didn't work, so it was, I think, a lot to say on the Demo Man primary there, like you saw how the soldiers got nuked out of mid-air from this lock-and-load, but also the progressive scout chariot there on top made it very difficult to bomb in. But we enter the secondary mid-fight. Dingo already on his own cafe area, shooting a little bit from afar, bot mode claiming the bell tower.
Yeah, playing passive, playing spam, they actually get Soapy Mize in a possible position, but they're actually going to take the opportunity to rotate completely around, cut out the possibility of Soapy making a flank round. They're going to pick off High Five, who was struggling out on his own, and Kobe has got Cafe on lockdown. That's a health pack taken away and a place to escape from, and they're still humouring the idea of coming back in with Jay and Artist, but it's just them, and Kobe, he has to go back out of the fight for a moment, clean up a health pack, and while he's doing that, they're striking while the iron is hot over on Ball's team. They actually pop off the Uber pretty early, and Lol Guy's not using his Uber at all. Kobe is milking this for so long, they're still not using the Uber. Lol Guy will hold it until the ends of the earth. They finally go down despite using their Uber.
No escape route. I mean, you can see etymologically speaking, the team in red should by default be already favored that we play in Colorado, but simply still on this field you can see like 2 soldiers here. High Five, that is never mind. NJ finally on their 3rd attempt they do force that Uber, and well, having their eyes set straight here on the red team to chase out, but doesn't really work. I will use hopefully this 1 or 2 seconds of downtime to say that the blue team here, that is the Board's land team, they opted a little bit more living there in flower and then like slow pushing this, trying to well, have the enemy team not have their own soldiers initiate there, but once more they're initiating Turbo.
Yeah, Kobe is going to be the first one to make space for his team, but that lock-and load is just like an absolute crimson lightning bolt from the sky. We'll just pick off a player randomly, legal by the way, and well, okay, so now when you lose a soldier class, you've got Chris down over on like a G6. It's going to simmer down here for both teams, and with basically 100% Uber charge for Ball's team, but not really a position to push off without their Dingo player. Maybe it's just going to go off into a regular stalemate.
I think they are still quibbling about whether or not this is legal. Let's just say both demo men are on a probation so far, and will judge off further on and incarcerate them if it comes to that. But High Five is spotting it. This flank push here from Chris, from Lol Guy, also Logan, still in tower, spamming it a little bit from afar. Cognitive dissonance though is Soapy Meister being eradicated. Try to bust open one with your team there on the new flank, but didn't work.
I did like the idea what Soapy was doing there. He takes the initial fight and he can always back off to that lower lobby area, get the health pack, and then play off the spam from his team playing from Valley. But they don't really take the bait over on Force team. Kobe jumping in, gets some damage onto Artist, but he's just so tanky with his buff, and he's got his entire team beside him as well. So that's another soldier down for like a G6, and well, they still don't have any signs of pushing out here over on the Ball team.
Artist is still plastering his second point. That is his own artistical demising to have wonderful sticky traps set up for the next suicidal wave of those soldiers, as the round win limit was reduced or will be reduced in 20 minutes, which is important, but we'll get to this as well. I think you all know what this current matchup here in the rule set is, but Logan is still, and Soapy Meister, they are trying this again.
Yeah, Dingo may be trying to set up for a place where he could bomb Valley, but actually gets caught.
They baited out High Five and Slamnish. They are expecting Kobe to go behind. He did not.
Low guys in no man's land will get peppered enough to actually force off the Uber here, and they respond in kind over on Zilly, but they can't really connect on top of anyone. Slamnish entering the choke on his own, thinking about it, will eventually start committing with the rest of his team. High Five jumping in, trying to provide space for his team. He's caught a couple of eyeballs, maybe even a couple of rockets as well, will go down, and with that Space Maker going down, they're going to back off over on Ball's team. But I can see like a G6 already pushing from Cafe, already looking to push the issue.
they're simply shutting him down, and you can see how inconstant or how fickle this entire stalemate was. So, the big air shot onto Dingo, straight to down under. Even if you're not from that, you go this a little bit of an animal, but the animals are still unleashed here on the front. It is Logan, and Jay is a little bit trapped in. Do they want to take this fight? They don't even have Uber up yet. They're on a low ground.
They don't want to let go. They don't want to give up. They're actually going back. They're fighting and they're believing and they're winning. They're actually finding these pickoffs on the two sides of this second point, and they actually force out like a G6. That was a brave decision. I wouldn't have made it.
I mean, Zilly was on 50 HP. That kind of gun definitely the other way, but we are once more onto the second, on the midpoint, rather, from the second to the mid. Jay up about through the low ground. Slamdish cleaning up Kobe. He is already recognizing that he was a little bit caught out there, out of position. Logan as well, completely shot apart. No spam really to deny them. No sticky traps either to worry about.
We were in overtime. That's how long this sort of connecting part of the round has been, and we actually tick over now. They did cap off the midpoint over on the ball team now, entering second, and they look like they want to give up the second completely clean over on G6. They don't want the brave antics leaking into their gameplay, and yeah, it looks like another last hold.
It will be another last hold, and most importantly for like a G6, so the ball land team is already coming out with the big plays and, well, trying to find salvation here, but it didn't really come to fruition early enough. Like maybe they have like 3 or 4 more last pushes. You can see level 2 sentry gun picked up by bot mode, and that is how you deny the lock and load. Apparently he just picked it out of sight. Slamdish cleanup.
Oh, he can't get hit the sentry gun. It's just over. It's being protected by a small orange barrel, the counter to the lock and load.
And now it just needs to be mobile. You just have to carry this little barrel all around the map. But you can see it was wonderful. Bot mode saw 2 lock and load pipes, flung it, the sentry gun, he just picked it up and moved it to a different direction.
Oh, we're building the entrance, ready for Lolguy to make his escape. It's the classic G6 close hold, and the medic has a little exit way if he really needs to. Now, the sentry gun sets up in a place where it's not really the most coverage. They can actually enter from the side that Logan is holding at the moment here. So it's a lot of pressure on Logan to make sure no one comes out there, but they're playing the sniper route. But how is a sniper really supposed to get in and get a shot at the medic when there's a sentry gun staring right down the barrel of that entrance?
Oh,
okay, well, set up for Kobe instead.
I was about to say you can't even headshot the sentry gun, but you can 2 rockets. How clean that was from Soapy Meister. And a Squish Buddy, wash your hands in this quiet, in your respawn queue, my friend. Logan is being a little bit here spammed out, but they're still opting for the right side.
He actually got the kill on the sentry gun. It's just doing so much damage. Dingo tries to go in and play off of the fact that, oh, somebody took the entrance there, and yeah, it was a scout marking up the point score for the engineer. And well, now we are trying to respond over on Soapy, over on G6. Actually, they make a double back. They don't want to make this push anymore.
It's interesting because I think if Soapy would have spotted that Zilly was in front of Flower, he simply didn't peek at him. Like it was 1 second part, maybe he would have jumped in, but in the bigger picture, you know, given the premises that so much happened there, nothing really changed in the big scheme of things. The sentry gun still level 3, teleporter up, and no sniper on the field, so very cookie cutter.
Yeah, bot mode actually switching his sentry gun to the other way around now. It's looking at the left-hand side, supporting Logan. They're trying to keep them on their toes here about the sentry gun spot. Usually a lot of teams like just keep the most optimum spot, finger air quotes, and well,
High five is in!
Playing the line. The sentry gun not really contributing too much right now. Well, actually finally finds high five because he was behind so far in this little right side push, but the sentry gun isn't going to be able to do much. Will actually go down to Dingo, just spamming it out. They pop off the Uber charge, but Zilly and Jay not really connecting anything with the Uber. They might be to scout forward. Altus goes down alongside with Jay. Kobe is on top of Zilly. Zilly's going to go down as well. Dingo is trying to back out here, but they smell the water. Dingo just goes down. Lolguy is in jeopardy. Will actually keep himself safe, and yes, that's a complete wipe here for ball team.
They're not able to apprehend Lolguy. Lolguy in the midst of 3 to 4 players, he does not pop Uber. This Uber is a mirage. I do not have Uber, just ignore me. And then the meme spoon, but he then backstabs. Not hit by the memes. Incredible performance by Lolguy. And now they have 80% Uber advantage and traversing through Cafe.
Yep, they make their way through. Kobe. Oh, they're just popping Uber straight away. We want second and we want it guaranteed. So they just get an Uber charge in, try and find all these stragglers. High five, playing behind. Maybe can't really play for a back cap. He's only a low soldier class.
Oh, the air shot from Soapy Meister. Another one has to wash his hands in the respawn queue. Dingo was cleaned off. No soldiers now on the field.
Yeah, no Uber charge on the field either, but they're going to make a push into the last point try here. They have entered somewhat for free. They're clearing out stickies on the point. They have to be reset, and Jay will keep Kobe under control as he will go down during this dry push.
That was wonderfully recognized by like a G6. Honestly, you see the enemy team doesn't have Uber up yet. Yeah, Zilly has Uber advantage, but doesn't really matter. And they have 2 players down, but the Heavy coming in clutch to help their defense and thwart the mid heaps that were a little bit this aggressive push being thrown at them. But conversely, the Ball LAN team will simply defend now.
Alright, so we've got Slemnish on Sniper, we've got Jay on the Engineer class. It's always interesting to see what kind of flavour everybody's picking on these last defences. And, well, we've got 3 minutes on the clock, but they've only got 1 soldier in. He's pretty far to say there's a sentry gun, but finds the blind spots effectively, just not enough to blind all the other teammates of this Balls team. And, well, Logan still letting up the pressure here over on the left-hand side, despite Soapy being down. And, yeah, they still want to gain this ground for free, and Jay, his sentry gun, can't really contribute that much to the fight right now. He's just keeping this left-hand side well protected, while the right-hand side is kind of rupturing and bleeding at the seams, and, well, Chris will go down on that very right side.
It's all on Artist, honestly. Artist simply spammed it from long range and medium range, completely alone, pre-fired with 2 pipes, bot mode there, then received a bolt, but then tried to re-peek, but ultimately wasn't happening. Soapy through dungeon cannot incarcerate anyone. Slemnish might be the turnkey. He is already peeking through here, being jumped by Soapy Meister, but no one able to finally be incarcerated.
Alright, bot mode. What have you got for me, buddy? You're rocking up on the Sniper class. Let's see. All on his shoulders. Bot mode, quite an influential sniper, really, I would say, in the NA sphere. So, I'm predicting good things from this man.
You're already hyping up a little bit here. Glazing, can he find the sniper?
He does the job, you know. He isn't shamed by the body shot.
I wanted to say he can only do as much if he finds a sniper sideline, if they peek his sniper sideline. But Artist.
If using your terms, I have glazed too far. He has been glazed all the way to the respawn queue. But it's fine. You can come back a sniper.
I mean, glazing, we are so far to the glacier here, the Rocky Mountains. He was rocked, but this altitude, is serving some sort of equilibrium here. Logan pipes down, high five, and if you're on such a median altitude, yes, you will have peak performance.
Okay, they're spamming out the sentry gun, but it's not quite the lock and load, so it takes a lot more concernable effort to actually defend this sentry gun. It needs to go back for a quick little resource buff up, and yeah, they had to lose their sentry gun during all of that level recollect of the engineer's resources. So, well, now we're working with a level 1 sentry gun. Bot mode is, I mean, that's brave, but I guess we're going down for a suicide to get another off class, but he had the opportunity to go for an off class earlier, so I'm not really sure what the play was there.
I think he just ran in, like he saw in the kill feed flaring up, yeah, sentry gun down, I run in, he was in for 5 seconds, didn't really find any target though to shoot apart, and Logan is only really peering at the enemy team. No off class, comes out of bot mode, but a push comes through under.
Yeah, we've got 30 seconds left. They're going to go for a Hail Mary, just regular Uber onto Uber action. The Uber's so much, obviously, healthy for Ball's team here, so it should be quite easy pickings for them. They lose the medic, but, I mean, the medic is used as Uber. The heals that could have come out have already come out from Lol Guy and Zilly, so I don't really see the worth of going for Zilly at the end of that little push there. Especially
since you completely wipe, and I'm not even sure if, they don't even want to push out. Slemnish, Jay, high five on the last point. Welcome to the stalemate. I mean, I suppose that works with this like newly adjusted map timer as well, but we have 10 minutes or banking on it there in the total numbers. Only a 1-0 scoreline, and this gives me 1 or 2 seconds to explain that the first team here that reaches a 5-pointer on the total score takes this map, but if we don't get there until the 30 minutes run out, then the rules changes that the highest that is on the board and +1, and they only have to reach that +1 basically. But anyway, we're into a third mid-fight. Let's see if like a G6 can try to counter this little bit of a side, but now Zilly and company are out.
Well, Soapy Meister immediately goes high in the sky, trying to make some room, but doesn't really commit in. And now they're fighting without Soapy for a hot second. And, well, they don't really need him. They actually find enough pressure onto Dingo on that bell tower. And with one domino fallen, 6 is better than 5. And they're getting a bit more confident. What they even things out here over on the Balls team now, and that player is going to hurt a lot more. It's a lot more of a fresh death, and my god, we're just trading places. They do lose Haltis, however. That's a big force for any sort of team. An actual Uber force over on the midpoint as well. These mids have been lasting for so long. These teams are consistently getting these Ubers at mid.
It's also very methodically played. You say, yeah, 5 versus 6. The 6 players in theory should have the advantage, but you saw how Chris was picked up because he was too far forward. And if 5 players realize 1 player is out of position, then this personnel advantage will quickly be evened out. And afterward, the soldier from the red team was still in behind from like a G6 and was able to force them out. But however, blue claims mid.
Yeah, usually in those situations where one player goes down, the soldiers are usually the ones clamoring to get a bit more suicidal because they buy a lot of space. They are very difficult to deal with when they're going aggressive, and they're almost like guaranteed damage and effect. So spending your life as a soldier seems a bit more effective than just Chris towing the line there. But c'est la vie, it is just but 1 mid in this game. It's only 1 round differentiating these 2 teams, and with 7 minutes left until those little progressive configs start being invoked, it's still sitting pretty for Ball's team.
Ball LAN team is way more conglomerating up upon Cafe, upon the choke area, amassing their troops, but when you amass your troops in the same direction, yeah, you take the same damage here. Also, Logan is not on lock and load, evidently. He is on the Iron Bomber. No irony involved as he's being shot out though, as a little bit of damage is flung over the fence, but nothing really consequential is happening.
Yeah, it does make me wonder if these teams are kind of theory crafting the best way to abuse this 1 round advantage. In theory, if you let the timer tick out and you have a favourable position on the round, for example, you have G6 all the way back at their last, and that would probably be a better place to hold them and make that final round that you need to take, because you just obviously need to get 1 point.
High Five is threatening the integrity of the enemy team, but does not really work. And if you lose 2 players here, it will make it very difficult to preserve even more of your own player compartment integrity. Now they're charging here from the front like a G6. Soapy Meister in the sky.
Okay, so with 2 players down, the fact that they even want to hold this at all, Zilly pops off the Uber. They smell a good Uber solo in the water for Ball's team, and taking out 1 player, they actually respond with an Uber on Lol Guy, but they play very defensive. They actually, to say they had the better reactive Uber and more Uber charge to work with, they don't go aggressive at all over on G6.
I mean, this time around it was Logan being completely shot out of this Uber. Before it was Chris on the mid, but now we enter a secondary approach here. Just the conversion rate, they're all falling. 5k on Slamnish, that should be, and Zilly has 3 assists for himself, and now maybe they can even charge in. You saw very much akin how like a G6 were able to converse into the opposing team's last point, but now it is Ball LAN team trying to do that instead. The 2 spawners are coming now up as we speak, however.
All of this off the back of Kobe just wanted to hold that choke really close, just hold his ground and confident in his rockets would land true, but it didn't work out, and now they just bleed enough players to push them back into last. Both teams rocking that Uber charge again. They're already building a sentry gun on last. High Five is trying to stop that engineer from building a sentry gun on last, but will just be quickly moved and dealt with. And yeah, we're in a very familiar place in this game here, Tomato.
I mean, let's see how very fast and dynamic NA players can play a last point, because otherwise they're always criticizing, oh, it's European TF2, but now it is Artist, very low on HP, being spammed however, but slammed here is Slamnish, slamming through. Kobe though catches a pipe from his rivalry class that was from Logan, and it secures the ground a little bit. It tranquilized for the most part though. Soapy is jumping in, nothing really is found.
The sentry gun is hugging the other side that Ball's LAN team want to play from, so It's not the most pressure in the world, but I think it's more just so they can completely focus all of their spamming power on this one left-hand side. And, well, they have a lot of good fishing game, I think. If the Artist is rocking this lock and load, you can just abuse it to the point of just landing that key effective pipe on, say, a medic or a demo, and then just start throwing your soldiers in. But we're going the sniper route instead.
Instead we do, and indeed we do, as the body shot is enough to clean Kobe out of the picture, so another player falling. And I was talking about this dynamic shift in gameplay style, so a lot of more suicidal waves. Slamdish, however, is a little bit pestered there by the sentry gun that is watching the left side, very readily available to completely deny them, and once more doesn't really, or it fades into insignificance.
A smart person would say it's good to rotate your sniper around different doors. A wise person would realize that not all the doors are made the same. As Slemnish rotates around to the other side, very smart, but it's covered by that sentry gun and that demo man. There's no effective way for, realistically, that Slemnish is going to get in.
Kobe
so it's probably better just playing this left-hand side.
A wise man would also realize that a 1v3 will definitely not work out in your favor. Kobe was cleaned up in the after or underneath area, and they were able to even then hold with 3 players on top. But now the blue team is all through. Slemnish taking the hero shot, does not hit LOL guy's face though, as the dispenser was a little bit obscuring this entire second life.
Well, high five. It's going to get pressured out from lobby, and it's okay. You're on Sunshine. If things get a bit too hot and heavy, you can just back out to the outside area, and it's so hard for like a G6 to make this push out despite being up on manpower.
Let's see if High Five can hit anything here to invalidate the sentry's position. Perfect. The sentry gun down, and now it may enable his own team to, well, reposition themselves, repurposing their own positions there through the left side and using onto that, losing Artist, however, in this disarray of actions.
Yep, so they clean up a sentry gun and they get 1 pick with an Uber charge. Not really a good way to make a push into last, especially because Lower Guy didn't use his Uber immediately. I like the idea because obviously we look at the clock and there's not much time to actually do things, is there?
It's the bait play. Now they push out, but they don't push out.
I would like more if they were doing a bait play to maybe send, just sack in about 3 or 4 people. Find out what is just too much of a cost for G6 to, turn their head against. Here we go on the second point.
Yeah, I mean, definitely only 5 seconds though until this entire thing resets, and well, the ball LAN team won't even push off that, also the medic won't have. So we have a second stalemate. You are losers, you can read it here, at least on my HUD, so I'm giving you the keywords, but I can tell you one team that is not a loser right now, and that is still the ball LAN team, 1-0 up. But if all of this well, ticks down here 1 minute and 20 seconds, then this progressive overtime rule will start, which means both teams have to reach the 2 on the total score.
You're right here, Domato. There's no resetting now. There's possibly no time for it, as let's see if how they can best abuse this over on Ball LAN team. They just need to get 1 more round in theory, and they should win out here. Whilst it's kind of still affordable for G6 to make the comeback. They just need 2 rounds now.
Oh, High Five missing the second rocket. That could have been huge if he hit that onto Logan. Now Logan is coming a little bit more into the play. Bottom however is cleaned up, and Sopimas in from behind. High Five out of the picture. Artist still has to battle and dominating the enemy team. Or the enemy soldier rather. I wouldn't even say that's overpowered lock and load. That's just overpowered Artist.
Artist wasn't even looking at that soldier. He was completely unaware of him, and he would just like dusted him off like he was, oh, what are you doing here? And well, now it's kind of reset things to say that they had a strong showing from G6 with the soldiers and their placement at the start of that mid. And again, I'm going to keep pointing at that completely legal gun for maybe why they might have these little...
Who are we to adjudicate? Oh, Soapymeister wanted to be the judge all along. He is maybe the one to adjudicate, but not hitting Zilly there in the face. You can simply, well, traverse around the demo man Artist, not really finding the shots, but you can see it here, the win limit, or you can't see it, we're telling you, the win limit is changed to 3 minutes and 20 seconds, and this progressive overtime rule kicks in now.
Okay, so you do get these picks, there's little defenses from Ball's LAN team, but what good is it if they can't really play off it? They need to come up with a game plan here, and that last round doesn't just kind of materialize on its own here, Dorito.
No, definitely not. What I really, was watching at or looking at was that like a G6 is way more banking around their own soldier suicides, while with that the ball land team is really realizing that their own positions is where it drags them forward. Like they're rotating with the combo way more. You can see a little bit lacking ideas here on like a G6. They're always trying this entrance, but it allows bot mode to run in.
Okay, Dingo feeling a little bit of pressure. Bot mode completely unaware that Jay is stabbing him in the back there with a scattergun, and yeah, they're just going to back out here over on like a G6. They're not really committing too hard to any sort of strategy, which is, I think, the plan of Ball's team. Maybe just have them overextend too many players for their liking, and well, they lose out on Dingo. Kobe will get the kill, and Slemnish will equalize it out, but he's brought down very low, and he's caught in no man's land. Will go down, and yeah, now 2 players down for Ball's land team. This is definitely the play for like a G6 to make the push in.
It definitely is, since the burden of proof is set upon the shoulders of the contenders, since they're only 1-0 down, but still that is 1-0 down, and they tried so often to bust through this flank here, but now they're busting from the cafe side of living and already claiming the ground here. Logan was on top, but spammed out for the most part. The medium distance damage fight is mostly what is deciding the fate of this fight in a mere second. I do hope so, as a mere lack of judgment might prompt this Uber push to come out onto Jay, pushed up upon early, and now Lolga only popping now.
Yeah, they finally used the Uber charge, but they kind of slowly choked them out there. It's an awful place to stand over on that second point and just play the long fight, but it did work that first round that they claimed over on Ball's land teams, and that's why maybe they were feeling confident about it. They're knocking at the door, the wolf is blowing the house down, and there's no stickies to defend with. Artis, though, doesn't need stickies, he's got the lock and load. That's 1 round on the board for like a G6. However, they will claim it off the back of that sloppy second hold, and there's just 1 round left to go for either of these teams to claim this Sunshine map.
And you thought that you were safe in the brick house, you know? 1 little piggy, 2 little piggies, and 6 little piggies hit on that last point, but eventually the wolf gobbled them up all, and now it is a 1-1 tie. And the next team that caps the last point of the enemy team at all will transfix this first map win to themselves. Artis.
Oh no, he craters! He craters to a clumsy death. Oh no, without a demo man, that is curtains for this mid. And yeah, they're backing out to that second, and that second didn't treat them too kindly last round.
Didn't at all, and you also have to say, oh, the big rockets on to high five, insane from Kobe, honestly.
Oh my god.
Too direct. Jay is in though. Jay and Lolga is in harm's way, but he's eventually having his friends there to protect him. And you know what else is brutal? The blue team here, Ball land team, they were up 1-0 for the most part of this entire map, but now they're on the brink of losing this. Honestly, only then the trap is saving them a little bit of breathing space.
Yeah, they wanted to change the philosophy, I think, on second point. The fact that they played it so slow and methodical on the second point, and then it still led them to a loss of round. They decided to just throw the soldiers in. Okay, see if we can just get things going and surprise them over on like a G6. But you're seeing why in TF2 it's a lot easier to defend than it is to attack. And yeah, now they will lose that second point because of that gun-ho aggression. The only saving grace was Artis setting up a sentry, a sticky trap over on the right-hand side instead, and getting an easy scout kill to stop that attacking spinning out of control.
Honestly though, if you have Kobe here on the attack on like a G6, it will make it still though easy to push in. He is not missing rockets now. He like directs all the time onto Slemnish. I don't care what class you're on, and before it was him opening up the space on the second point, clumming the enemy soldier away. Chris, however, is caught out, takes a big rocket in his face. After that, the body shot is a revenge kill that comes out on his face, but probably not able to push out also a soldier taunting to give himself vision in lower lobby.
Okay, bot mode and Slemnish, they're nowhere near each other in all these. Okay, now they're going to do a sniper wall. Okay, no, never mind. As still going to be following. I would follow bot mode, I think, during all this. I think he's got a lot more avenue to get aggressive, but it's really hard to play sniper on this right side, especially with that lock-in load. It just has a perfect art for the demo man to kind of commit spam in, but not really commit himself.
Chris is on spy. he is behind this a little bit of a tower here on the last point, and he is peering at the enemy team. Maybe he tries to get him.
Oh, they spotted him! They shot a random spot! They found him!
A magical pipe artist. I don't know what he's painting with. I don't want to see this paint, but apparently it is not only heat seeking, but it is also completely invisibility unveiling.
Soapy pressured out and will manage to weasel his way out back to the health pack. Bot mode is still rocking that sniper, and I mean, eventually a sniper's going to come and turn up with a kill if you just give him enough shots and attempts at it. But he might have to settle here for an unconventional target. He's not going to get the medic, I think, and he's not going to get the demo man.
Especially not if you try to peek through a dungeon, and you can see a typical sniper bait play. Try to have the enemy team go onto him, and then you have 3 of your friends around the corner. And the 2 other players that were missing were obviously holding the left and right flank of it. Bot mode now opting for a little left side scene from his own perspective, but you have an artist still who is completely pounding through also Slamnish on that sniper class.
Yeah, you could see some sort of shenanigans with Logan trying to bait out the snipe from Slemnish, and then maybe bot mode can overpower Slemnish on that sniper. But there's just so many layers for like a G6 to deal with. I mean, sure, if you get the sniper down, then you have to deal with the soldier, and then you have to deal with the second soldier, then you have to deal with the sentry gun, and then finally you might be able to get these other picks onto these other classes that kind of solidify against an actual good Uber.
So 6 players are just too much, is what I'm gathering here from your comments. But no, I think they need to support Kobe a little bit more. I was praising him. I'm not saying glazing at all now, but bot mode is peeking through dungeon next attempt at it. Now they push through though. That was a little bit unexpected for the enemy team. The gun is cleaned up early on. Some cap time here to play for, but you already know that Zilly has such a much longer Uber duration, and they will simply scare them out. Chris in the sky caught eventually, and you know now while the Denver city is called Mile High because the soldiers were really just mile high there. And now he's even bombing in Dingo.
Oh, okay, well there's a lot of cap time, but they collapse in, and yeah, whilst they did make that push in, they still have bot mode on sniper, and what can a sniper really accomplish in a small time frame during all of that chaos? And yeah, the beauty of the defending team is Slemnish can go back onto scout, get that presence immediately, and actually start contributing during all that defense. They found it was powerful enough of a last defense to actually make the push out in second, and maybe even reclaim mid here as well. A lot of teams maybe opting to kind of do a round reset, but no, not during this period.
No, they have still skirmish here, and bot mode is on the top area. You saw though the blue team is balling right now. Bot mode still in the sky, but eventually clean up. The Dingo, however, is finished off instead, and well, it was also Dingo cutting the escape route away from the enemy team, and now this conversion of this Uber comes in indeed, popped onto Jay, but the earliest recipient of that entire flashing beam was Artist, who secured the ground for the most part. Soapy Meister also is a victim of that fight, and 50% Uber on like a G6 might not even help them this much, since they should be brave enough to push out, but Heavy is on the field. They're still pressuring here.
Well, that's 3 times, 4 times on the point. All these scouting soldiers sneaking in for the door. They focus so much on firepower, they didn't focus on the point, and they got the round and the map-winning point for like, well, not like a G6, but like a Balti.
Like a last cap, just balling right now. Honestly, not even spitballing, but victory balling, I suppose. It's insane. I was a little bit off taken there, how they reigned triumphant in the, well, at the last 5 seconds. There's soldiers simply going on that point. I was praising those soldiers on Sunshine here, honestly, sending shock waves through the enemy team with the damage, but they can also simply snack on the point, especially if you equip the pain train. But I am quite happy, honestly, for Barland team, since I was alluding to it in a funny sense. They were 1-0 up for the majority of this entire map, then like a G6 coming back, making it 1-1, and we're on the brink 1 or 2 times on pushing that last point. But it is a little bit of an upset, I would even say. I mean, Barland team is taking the very first map.
Yeah, this is certainly upset. They upset Ferrariotech the other day, and well, they're upsetting like a G6 now. They've not lost many times here at all throughout the entire LAN event over on like a G6, and I think this is the first actual map they've lost. And well, let's look at what kind of fashion they lost that game in. I'm looking at the stats, and what's jumping out at me? Maybe the soldier deaths, maybe a little bit. No, they're kind of similar. There's not really, honestly. It's kind of a 50-50 affair between these two teams, Domato.
I can tell you what is, catching my eye, that now I usually have a config that changes the name. Now I have all fake nicks, so I can't even compliment players because I don't know who they are. So I can only compliment the players that don't use a fake nicks. But a Scout is a top ring here. You've said it well, though. I think not a whole lot of discrepancies there.
It's the artist. It's the artist factor. Look at it. Samus has highlighted it for us, kind of showing us the answer sheet. Artist is just having a lot of kills and a lot of impressions, and not only just doing a lot of damage to set up the rest of the team, but also getting the kills in. That's got to be that legal gun, the lock and load.
Illegal gun. No, I think it is also augmented a lot by the fact that you hold last points and the mid fights revolve a little bit more around you, but simply also putting medics here into perspective, very equal. You can see so much equal. Please show that, Samus, for me. Thank you. Medic on blue, medic on red. How many heals do they have? Exactly the same amount of heals. No, I like per minute, you know? Only differentiate, but I'm not sure if I've ever seen that. That is insane.
Yeah, that is kind of wacky. The only thing I probably noticed that you can't really read on a stat sheet is maybe the philosophy about how these Ubers are played by Ball LAN team. They very much favor these second Ubers in. These guarantees, like, I want to just lock in second, guarantee that, maybe get a couple of picks, and then they change the win state a little bit. Usually a lot of teams, they make that clean into second, or they just force them from just like overpowering them and pushing them out of the second point. But then you've got a stalemate of Ubers, whilst they want to use their Uber advantage immediately on that second point, get a couple of picks, maybe even get a player behind. That's what happened to Kobe in that last fight, and then they can just snowball it from a dry push there. This has an advantage by the fact that they don't allow the last team to set up any sentry guns, maybe even get some off classes out immediately. They usually get a couple of picks at the start of these fights as well, so you kind of snowball things. And also, a team is not really optimized setting up for last, where they have a couple of lost players. You notice there, it was like a scout and a soldier right on top of the point. That's because their doorway is not being watched here, because they're not really accounted for in these last defenses. How can you account for like a 4-man last defense? You can't even keep check of who is down, what job that should switch to who. And yeah, during all that chaos, it actually paid into Ball LAN team's hand.
I'm 100% sure you were all right on that. I used that time to reconnect. The only one or two points that I still want to get across here is the factual basis to back up how well the Ball LAN team played, because you said, did like G6 even lose anything at all? No, they haven't lost a single game. They have only lost 3 rounds in the entire LAN event so far. I'm speaking about 7 rounds and 1 playoff game, and only 3 rounds. 3 they lost, and now let's make that 4. And I was praising those soldiers from the Ball LAN team a lot, and now we're onto product, so I'm segueing this a little bit of a comment here, since this is a heaven for soldiers, no, for scouts.
Yeah, it is a completely different game by the fact that obviously it's a different game type, and it's kind of turning into the ugly child of the game mode. People are not really liking this product. You've got a lot of cheese that can go on here. If you're rocking a lot of snipers, or just kind of playing a certain DME way and just kind of balling to the walls, it's not really considered regular normal TF2. And if you're doing really badly here, it's really easy to just shut out a team in these forward holds. So you can have it run away against you. Well, let's see.
I think some arguments to be done, though, is what will probably translate from Sunshine. Obviously not this fabled 4-man split open another flank here that you mentioned already with many words numerous times, but 6 players here are on the field constantly, where you can shoot the enemy team constantly. But most importantly, the argument that I want to take across into product is snipers are so very suppressive. We basically before saw the showdown of bot mode versus Slamnish.
I'm not I mean, remind me. I'm looking at this map. I'm thinking in my mind which team this really caters for. But maybe the picks will go against me, the map picks and bans. But I'm pretty sure this will go a lot better for like a G6. They just strike me as better as playing off of each other's sort of damage. Soapy Meister and And maybe the other soldiers do have an okay time, but in particular, I think Soapy has a really good foothold on just having impact on this map, and just actually leading off to more concrete kills. And I don't know, I just don't think if this maybe the map pick bans have gone against me, but I feel like this is going to be a good equalizer for the upper bracket for like a G6 in this product map.
Could very well be, since I was hinting at it. I was convinced by the majority of their plays, but I was especially not convinced by the sort of uninspired routes that they were taking, especially when they were trusting 90% of the time to push a second point through Flower, and the only real pushes where that worked was where they only baited them in and then pushed from Cafe, which was kind of funny. But what mostly honestly worked for Barlan team, I was alluding to that at the halfway marker on Sunshine, was them simply separating the enemy team into splinter groups by the able help of their soldiers bombing in. Then Slemnish and Jay simply tore into, for example, Chris when he was like disconnected from the beam or a little bit too far forward, and Logan was also not part of these Uber fights. So those were the very concrete forties or advantages that I saw ringing out in their own favor, and very difficult here, I would say, since it's hard to catch a enemy team off guard, since it's so narrowed down here. You don't really get lost in this map.
Are you expecting any sort of full-time snipers coming out here, Domato? Or is that a bygone era? Do people not really just rock these sort of YOLO snipers, just running a full-time product map?
I think they will probably not start on the snipers, but might throw them in mid-game, maybe not trusting into the sniper per se to carry them, but to simply have this as a menace, so the enemy team has to deal with them, or at least they feel pressured to deal with them. And that could also be a stratagem that, like a G6, use the sniper, so they lure Dingo and High Five in, that have been, so lethal in those all-on-on team fights. So they try to get them out of position and bait them in because, hey, I have a sniper, come on, jump the sniper.
There's some forbidden fruit over in the EU land. I'm not sure if it's allowed here in NA Yankee Doodle world, but there's a nice little kind of strategy I saw a Yak team running with the Classic. I wonder, maybe in a crazy world, in a crazy land world, they might rock out some classic strats, but both teams will have to be doing their homework here.
Indeed, especially since I can now bring also the European perspective here from the LAN. I was sitting next to Ian, he was telling me, not every team can make the classic work. You have to have a specialist on your team to make it work. And I'm not sure if he was talking about the specialist in terms of psychological warfare way, but also specialist probably in a case of hitting the shots and playing a little bit more, submissive around the enemy team jumping you, and then you back out and bait the enemy team in. But I'm not really sure. I'm not expecting a classic, honestly, to be straight up front with you.
Well, I'm just planting the seed out there. Maybe there's some Americans fiending over in the chat, having a quick little cheeky look. Banny clutching at straws and thinking, maybe we could give this classic a bit of a shout here. But that would be, really a kind of crazy tale if I saw that come out at all. But if you're just looking at the regular cookie cutter TF2 here, Domato, who do you think is going to win out on this product map?
I'm going to be very boring and probably agree with you that it might be a little bit of a surprise factor here if like a G6 don't straight up take this, because you can have some dissents or dissidents on your own team that is straight too far forward, but I was talking about it numerous times already. You can't really lure yourself out of position, and if the scouts are constantly on the field, as we start now on product into our upper bracket semi-finals, it was a big upset, honestly, that the Ball LAN team that is right now featured in the blue took Sunshine simply away, grabbed that by the scruff of the neck, and have that in the bank right now, and like a G6 from 1-0 down, have to reclaim their dignity on product.
Alright, and we're just starting off with a nice spam war. Nobody's going to go way too aggressive over on each side. Maybe a bit more aggressive on the side of like a G6, but very cool, calm, and collected amongst both of these teams. They're trying to play for the flank fight, I think. See if they can pick off each other's soldiers before they start this. And, well, like a G6, just because they're pushing that little bit more forward, they're going to claim that mid fight from just stepping their pinky toe on it.
No, I can tell you why they won. Both demos went incredibly weak, but the difference was Logan was on main and Artist was on his own cliff side, so they all conglomerated up upon an anchored around that anchor that usually helps them, but that was a liability there. Therefore, like a G6 had so much space enabled, especially also winning this early fight on the concrete area, but I think this Uber push will be imminent.
Yep, they use the Uber immediately, maybe because Logan was brought down a little bit low there. They respond over on Lol Guy with his own Uber charge. So Uber out of the equation, nobody going down. Their post Ubers are pretty much similar on both of these sides, and again, nobody committing to any half side of the map, and this favors like a G6 just that bit more because they will get that cheeky time taken away over on the clock.
Slemnish also very far forward on the enemy team's concrete. Did not really well realize that probably staying on the point could have been more beneficial, but he wanted to scare out the enemy. Soapy Meister is falling and the ball doesn't really hit, but maybe it jolts forward this aggression here as they still haven't kept.
Yeah, that's a full minute gone away. It turned from cheeky to downright rude, the amount of cat time they've taken over on like a G6. Yeah, they do win out in the little pick war and maybe like the slim margins of these crossbow saving players, but what is it if you don't lead to objective?
Especially since they had ample time to tend to this weakness, but Slemnish and Jay, they had a very clear mindset on we want to push the enemy team's concrete area and not opt for the point. Let's see if it will help them in the long run, but now Lolga and Chris, alongside with Logan, the triumvirate of the combo, is charging through main, but this Troika of Doom might be enabled here since no Uber is popped as of yet already. Point, half-time kept, and Artist very weak in the post fight.
Very thin margins here. They actually get a pick onto Dingo, and they also have Kobe behind as well, so they have to deal with that as well as kind of control this aggression on top of the point itself. And Logan finding a pick onto Jay during all of that. Zilly caught out, takes a pipe to the back, and Kobe...
as well! That is insane! I'm sorry! I think your guinea pig just jumped up high. He doesn't need a lock and load at all. This Iron Bomber, no irony involved. Jesus, man. Like 4 consecutive pipe hits, 2 air shots.
Yeah, I think that kind of played off the fact that Kobe spent so much time behind and just drawing eyeballs, drawing attention away, that you can't really stay completely concentrated and committed over on ball land team. When you've got somebody knocking at the back door, and well, it's time for another little reset, but they haven't got much time to really reset things, as Lol Guy's going to have his Uber charge. They could get aggressive here, they just need to see the beam, but with Artists giving up their life, Dingo as well, did he even need to use the Uber? Zilly is caught out and will go down. They still have an Uber charge during all of this, and they even get a bonus Slemnish kill as well. High will be cleaned up by the air shot, and yeah, no Uber charge expended during all of that. They will hold it for the second hold, and
you know what the difference was? Chris and Botmore, they were just simply tearing into Slemnish. Slemnish had to back out, and then they claimed Artist because Artist had no follow-up defenses from his own scouts. Afterwards, the soldier bombing in and then pinching Zilly. That was so wonderful, honestly, to see. Chris piped down, and now they're chasing through main. Soapy's trying to chase onto Artists on the flank. They don't really get anyone.
Yeah, they get Dingo. High Five was kind of hanging out in the area as well, but they trade out soldiers, and now they have the Uber advantage, but they don't quite have the Uber yet, so it's still in the ballpark for G6 to kind of contest things here. But they lose out an early player, maybe from because everyone wants to get a bit proactive. They know that eventually this losing stance will kind of kick in, and yeah, they spend too much time hoping and not enough killing.
Very difficult though for ball line team now to not only restore this point cap, but to reinstate themselves into a better stat, since 2 minutes now they have to tick down. It was better played this time around, since they were focusing Chris and bot mode early on in the fight and scaring out the enemy team's carries in that sort of sense that they always have this big entrance door damage here, not really seen from the projectile players, rather from the hit scan players. Very, very timid play right now though. Lol Guy only really beaming his players from afar, and it's a very long drawn out spam war.
Yeah, this is very possible though for like a G6. Once you get that overtime, capping the point once is much easier than just doing a perfectionist 2-minute hold over on ball and team, even with the Uber charge. So they just play it very cool. They get their own Uber charge during all this because they've got time to spare, and they throw their soldiers in first to just get things started. Keep in mind, if they do some trades during all of this Domato, it's not the end of the world here. Their respawns are just going to be that little bit quicker compared to the Ball Land team. But they forced out the Uber and they keep their own.
I will also keep in mind that 10 HP probably mattered. Their LoL guy, I think, was down to 10 HP. That was absolutely insane. If he dies there, if he drops, that entire plan is thwarted. But they even still pop so much early.
Oh,
Chris
no.
is down. They're losing Kobe on the side flank as well. This skirmish will 100% not work out in their way. LoL guy is still down to half HP. And now a double scout versus bot mode.
The scouts are on top and they're crawling all over this red team in the suicide corner. They managed to hold the line up and get a Hail Mary kill onto Dingo, onto Zilly. No heals for this squad. 20 seconds left on the clock. Jay digs deep and digs his own grave. Slemnish coming into from the back to backstab. Logan will get the kill onto him, but the soldier's going to go down to the opposing soldier as well, and there's just not enough souls to defend this midpoint without their medic.
It dawned not only on them, it also dawned on us that now it is a 1-0 lead here for LoL guy, Logan and his compatriots, like a G6 that is a little bit overstaying their welcome on the face of Ball Land team. But you see how bi-model this play really is, since it was helping them early enough when the scouts charged through onto the enemy team, you know, completely clumping them in the cliff area. But afterward, it can sometimes be a stroke of luck when you take one rocket onto both of those scouts and then they're immediately eradicated. But that was probably what was on the horizon for them already. High five in the air!
Oh my god! Get LoL guy out of this server. I don't want to see him anymore, says High Five. And
good night.
Two soldiers taken out, however, they are able to respond in kind. Zilly will go down to Soapymeister, and he keeps himself alive during all this. The scouts bleed in, and they're trying to play off what damage this Soapymeister has done. And everyone is, oh, maybe not everyone, Kobe goes down, but majority of everyone over on G6 will keep themselves alive. That is the difference maker.
That was absolutely crazy, this air shot, and keeping the caveat for themselves, but afterward, honestly, Kobe says, Zilly, Villy, Milli Vanilli, honestly, like, you're so easy pickings there. He was completely trapped in behind his house and no real protection from him anymore. Now Artist is coming from his own cliff area, spinning it a little bit from afar. High five though, and Slamnish, they're coming from their own right side, seen from their own perspective. Now Dingo is in behind. Oh, they split this one open for their team, but LoL guy survives.
Yeah, High Five kind of tripping a little bit, but does get a bit of damage laid out, but nobody really to follow up over on Ball Land team. And, well, Slemnish trying to make space for his team to get back in, out of that suicide corner and back onto this midpoint. This is, again, very reminiscent of the first round, where there's just one sort of arrogant minute taken away right at the start of this game. And I can't but think that if they just had this time capped off just a little bit quicker compared to the last round, they might have won the last round as well.
Also dangling this in front of their eyes as a little bit of a bait, since now the onus, the impetus is on Ball Land team having to always take these initiations and take the fights, and maybe that means you have to use earlier, but then again LoL guy has to multi onto Logan, onto Chris. Logan is opting out since he's so weak.
Oh no, he can save people, but it only just delays their death, and it's a cruel, cruel mistress, the time in TF2. The longer you stay alive, the longer your respawn queue is going to be compared to your teammates, and they looks like they want to set up the foundations of a forward hold here over on G6.
Even more so, they were able to subsidize their own positioning and, you know, subjugate the enemy team, because it was Logan staying out of this fight, wonderfully, well, reset their own resources there. But now it is a Pyro on the front. Jay is blasting them away. A double soldier comes through, pounces through. High Five and Dingo own this guy, but nothing really is found.
So they deal with the forward hold quite nicely. Nobody's dying out from that. They have to kind of meander about a little bit, because Jay needs to go back from that Pyro class, switch to a Scout class, and now they can start kind of laying the grounds to move forward. But keep in mind, Wall Guy's going to have that Uber charge really soon, and they could see the fact that Zilly is pretty close, and they could probably pick him off. They use the Uber immediately. Logo jumping in, trying to go already immediately on top of Zilly. An easy pick for like a G6 here, and now they just need to back off. The heals are taken away. Every single time that ticks away, they're just doing damage to themselves, because those Ubers are overlay of heals are being decayed, and yeah, they have the point during all this. Mission accomplished.
You can see how the jet lag is still pouncing on us here from NA, but now we have recollected our strengths as well on Dingo, on High Five, being shot down low early on, but Artist has a sticky detonated on him, but they still want to charge through from the main side. Artist down to half HP. Slamnish is trying to masterclass this entire fight for himself. Jay is also parading upon the point. It's planading on it since they haven't even claimed the point at all. Soppymeister coming in the boss fight, sitting in the air, judging it out. Final first cap for blue.
There's two wolves fighting inside you. One wants to go for the med pick, one wants to go for the scout pick, and one wolf is definitely wrong in this situation. You should have picked the scout kid, as he will eat your own face. And well, Chris gets picked off by just Jay kind of manning up there alongside Slendish. They pop off Uber during all this, but they actually have an Uber on Zilly this time, and they didn't expect this. They're like, oh my god, and they just back out here over on like a G6, but it's not really punishing over on Borland team. Maybe because they're trying to go for the Soapy pick instead. Soapy, did you just edgebook there to keep yourself alive? My.
Finally, it's clean off though. That is still legal. They lose 3 players here, and Slamish on a 5k. Logan cleaned up as well. That was fantastic on Logan. Hi, I'm in. Hi, I'm out. But you're even further out here as High Five is still in behind. Chris is deleted. And they have 3 spawners, but they're definitely making a point here for themselves on the face of Borland team, since a forward hold is coming out now.
The forward hold. This time, let's see if it has a bit more of a stronger showing over on Borland team.
Mode on Spy, sneaking through me.
Oh my god, let's not make too much noise. I'm sure like we'll set up bot modes. A little play here. Actually, he bumps into a scout and he gets a stab onto someone. I see one icicle standing before us, and it was not only a stab but also a distraction for like a G6 to come racing through. Kobe is kind of going to go and feed himself though. He hates the idea of giving advantage to his own team and will go down. And no Zilly on the face of the earth for Borland team, so this will be kind of hard for the balls to, you know, kind of fight here.
That was a face step if I've ever seen one. Afterward, Zilly had to deal with a soldier that was point blank in his face, but now they have to deal with this myriad damage classes coming in. It is very early for Zilly doesn't have Uber, and they don't step on the point to defend it. They also were towing the line a little bit there, didn't have Uber up yet. The blue team only 20 to 30% on Zilly. Could have maybe blocked it, had some players still alive, but already, like a G6, they come back with the hunger and they're starting to run away with it.
Again, another minute divides between these wins and losses between these teams, so I feel like it's very impactful. The first team who actually has a good start on this product map, but let's see, a lot of it stems from High Five just kind of getting picked off over on this flank, so hoping he kind of buckle up and just kind of keep himself alive here. Soapy's going to back out, bait Slemnish into overextending for the kill. The El Clasico Roma strat of just baiting people in to go for your little kill on that flank. And Logan is going to get the easy peasy kill on the Dingo as well.
Logan takes one rocket, he's out, receives the ball, takes a pipe, goes out, receives the ball, takes the rock. It was so funny, and he was eventually even being kept alive by his own medic duties. Dingo not securing the demo man pick might have helped their efforts. Now Jay and Slamnish are walking through forward, meandering very fastly and vastly approaching this next Uber fight. Zilly down to half HP, has to pop.
Yep, they're using the Uber charge. There's a lot of multi-ing happening for Borland team. Maybe even a little bit of multi-ing over on like a G6 as well, but the difference is they managed to clean up their players who went behind over on like a G6, and they have control of that midpoint again. And they ask the question, why overextend? Why not just play our midpoint?
Zilly is piped in the air in the backlines. Can they catch him out? Yes they can. Sophie-meister, that was so clean, serving his namesake. They are galloping forth in some haste that even pales the Denver Broncos, I do think. And now High Five only alone on the concrete area. That was perfect entrance door damage. Kobe was appending himself and having the vision afterward. I think, was that a pipe? Like Zilly taking 100 damage across the map.
An interesting choice to go sniper during these sort of kind of even trades between these two teams. It kind of lends to where Ball's LAN team should have their players up a bit sooner, maybe because they wanted to play a game where they could pick off LoL guy instead, but they use the Uber charge so proactively and just clean up all of these players here. Even Zilly went down during all of that, so I don't think it really was a suicide wave so much so as just kind of surprised by the Uber.
And we have one player disconnecting, might rejoin in a timely fashion, but honestly, Soapymeister was so on that J off class. He knew he was on Japan, he instantly jumped on Japan, and they all annihilated them with this Uber advantage, so very, very well executed. The impetus was good, the execution is where Zilly and Slamnish, they're charging forward, though only 20% Uber disadvantage. Logan, very weak on HP, does survive.
The trap got Jay, and well, with a scout down and High Five, who went behind to try and make space for his scout.
Bot mode is in behind.
And yeah, bot mode just really on the forefront, actually cleans up a kill onto Dingo and assists onto Artis as well. It's looking pretty clean here for like a G6 on this product map, just tending to the strengths that they showed on that Sunshine map.
Zilly hit the kill bind, so Kobe couldn't get the air shot. That should be illegal, honestly. Like, it was crazy though. Bot mode snucking in from the main side and then pressuring two players, killing both of them, especially the demo man. Slamnish now has to deal with longest range spam flung his way afterwards. Soapymeister bombs in.
Another Uber. They're chasing Zilly again. How many times have we seen this song in dance? I'm trying to change the song, but it just keeps playing out of the radio. And well, they will get a third round on the board. And I know you're thinking, EU, don't turn that dial away. They play to 4 points here.
Alright. But I think it is a best of 7, so I will keep you on from across the pond, since we are evidently on the other side. We're in North America, trust us now. But honestly, like, it is the first team that reaches these elusive 4 total points. So in theory, now Ballland team can come back with 4 points themselves, unlocking their avarices as we speak, but they simply have to condone with the bot mode and a Chris scout combo. Very, very lethal. Like this scout chariot. Now it is Soapymeister already initiating in from the right side. He doesn't really find any damage number.
Yep, Kobe will go down. Trades though, however, and they're just turning to the sniper class over at the start of this 4th and final round, potentially for the Ball team. And Artis kind of manning up and finding a kill, kind of seemingly out of nowhere. Nice pipe and a nice follow-up rocket from Dingo will lay the first sort of mid in the favor for Ball LAN team during this entire bout.
This is the first mid-fight win. It feels, for me at least, for Ballland team. They repurposed their own positioning by dodging the enemy team's soldiers. If there's no one on your own flank, then you can't die to the double bomb from Soapymeister and from Kobe. So Soapymeister had to then have a third consecutive high bomb, but didn't really find enough. Now Chris is beamed. They have this impetus on defending bot mode on the sniper class, though. It will be a sniper with sniper duel maybe in a second. Logan already very weak on HP, and now the Uber is coming out. A LOL guy hasn't even popped yet, but they're opting more for Victor, rather for the flank. Sorry, Logan down, bot mode hitting the head of Jay.
Yeah, and without the sniper, they don't really have that sort of easy way to back out into a defense. They pop off the overcharge now, but this is just a defending overcharge just to keep the players alive. And they're going to get that respawn. It's just that little bit quicker compared to Ball and team. So, and it looks like Jay wants to... Oh, no, he still wants to stick with the sniper class. He did humour the idea of going on to scout for a second there. Oh, poor Kobe. No arrow for you, as he will get picked off. But maybe you can see the silver lining here. Artis goes down in that overextension. Zilly goes back to the arms of the cliff, keeps himself alive alongside his buddy Jay, and yeah, they still here to fight for another day, but they haven't quite claimed the midpoint over on like G6. They finally do now, and bot mode is still trying to cause that pressure on that sniper.
Ballland team very well safeguarding their own resources and keeping the chess pieces healthy enough to then provide this much needed engagement fight in the post Uber position. But now we are back onto Ubers, so 100% feature against 100%, and let's see. Yes, High Five receives the brunt of this beam. It is though Dingo jumping out, jumping in again, and now Chris and Soapymeister clean off Dingo on the flank.
You know, Dingo is consistently being isolated in these flank ways. Bot mode actually gets the pick onto High Five as well, also on that flank. And Jay, he's not finding nothing. Nothing. I see nothing coming out of this man so far. You kind of surprised them with the sniper at the start. He's going to drop down now, but they're not giving him an easy shot here.
Definitely not, and I think the other players have to play a bit stronger around him, since you can be a primus inter pares, but if the other players don't really do anything, that makes it difficult. Logan so weak on HP continuously, but Lolguy has his team intact, and High5 has the enemy team very much not intact, as he's on the 3k, removes High5's head. Jay is exploded.
After all that time, they were kind of banking on Jay to do something. He goes down anyway. They have to use Ubercharge here over on Zilly and Slemnish, but I don't think they're even going to get forced. There's nothing to force. They don't even have the Ubercharge yet. And look at Chris, he's chasing. He wants to maybe get a pick up. Kobe was hanging about, maybe see if he can get a pincer, but they just turn around, kill him, and now they cancel that idea over on... Oh, the baseball, the ball. It takes lives here.
Now you know why it's called the ball land team, because that was a ball and that looked like a headshot, but this is a headshot onto bot mode, and this is a pipe.
It's a showcase of all the banned things in TF2.
We have a very comfy sell here for everyone to realize that, yeah, that was some banishment there rather, but what was crazy is those headshots are finally coming a little bit more to fruition and into play. It is Soapymeister trying to opt out, is a little bit more of a side, but you see the times this time around very equal.
Yeah, they use the Uber nice and early over on like a G6. Not the greatest jump I've ever seen in my life. You know, Uber into Sticky Trap. I mean, it's Summit, but they all start capping out the point. They could contest here over on Ball Lamp team. They finally use the Uber charge now with the rest of like a G6 actually jumping into them, but they ignore all three of those players that have been sent behind, maybe because they're so minusculely healthed that they might as well be dead.
Lolguy is also so very weak. Now they can High5 here is changing his pace from a counter to a trot, never mind, other way around. But Lolguy is beaming on bot mode. They both kept alive. That was the most crucial part of that working, and the suicidal wave onto Zilly did not work.
And Jay was just sat there, he wasn't doing anything, and he was just receiving the hatred from Soapy, just suiciding in onto him. But that is a sniper kind of out of the equation for this defending team of Ball and well, they try to throw in Dingo. He immediately gets isolation control. High5 and Slemnish though finding the kills, finding the pistols, and keeping themselves so healthy throughout this. The scouts flexing here, and yeah, I think it's just playing off the fact that obviously they rotated a soldier away over on Ball team onto that scout class, and now they get the best of both worlds.
It also definitely helps if you can deploy Dingo in a perfect prime position to nuke 3 players with 1 or 2 rockets, and then the scouts can come in soon thereafter, since they're being repurposed to the cleanup duties. And Lolguy is beaming now Logan 100% in the bank. They probably have to stare down this dangerous sticky carpet, the blue sticky carpet. Logan is simply walking over it. I am not bothered by this at all, but very early pop.
Man, Soapy knows how to deal with these soldiers on the flank, doesn't know how to deal with these scouts on the flank, and yeah, they've got their first round on the board, and you know, if you're looking at the strategy whiteboard for Ball Land team, you're probably just circling that sniper class. This is it, this is how we win.
This is how we win. Also, this is how we get the kill icons, because is also telling that we didn't even think, oh, that was a headshot. No, that was just a ball kill, you know. It was way more likely to get a ball kill than a sniper headshot kill in the first 3 minutes of this entire round. But afterward, they were coming in hot form, and it is maybe Ballland team coming back. We are switching from circumstantial to ostensible evidence, since we see the switch up of their plans really did come through. Jay already on sniper.
Soldier taken out immediately when 2 scout classes take out the second soldier. Scout class confirmed overpowered as they make their way back to the mid-fight. Jay gets the pick onto Logan as well. Sniper overpowered, and oh my god, Sniper doubly overpowered. Bomb mode goes down as well, and they're gonna snatch back that middle.
He's just Jay walking over them, honestly, and now he's peering a little bit here from his little crates, but that should be a crate position for him to adjust to. No, I'm not, but like Jay's a criminal right now.
Oh, it's Soapy, and just can't really find the easy pickings compared to what the soldiers were laying out before. They pop off the Uber charge, they respond over on Zilly now. Artist getting a big fat solo Uber and gets a pick onto the scout class to boot. And Jay still there, still kind of ringing out. Bot mode, they've had a change of heart. They're not really finding the kills like they did before, and Dingo gets a kill on top of bot mode now. So now there's not even a sniper boogeyman to worry about over on Jay.
It's also crazy since they're playing in these Uber fights on the side of Borderline, a team way more monolithic in regarding to their own projectile players, and Artist is healed enough. Jay is also walking along the lines of it, has not died yet, and he's still on a 3k himself. Not wielding Chekhov's gun that much. No, he's hitting it, but also Dingo is cleaned up. Was maybe expecting less so damage flung his way. Chris is already, well, edge capping the point a little bit.
Damn, Slemnish is just it's kind of seeing too that these poor soldiers. One bleeds to death. When the last time you seen a soldier bleed to death? And bot mode finally gets the kill onto Jay now. He's got some room to breathe on this mid, and let's see if he can kind of capitalize with his team. And they will just find off the picks here. Everywhere, Zilly will go down for the land team, and bot mode is not only breathing, he's roaring.
Drop. And this is how you turn back from like a G6, you know, coming in with the electronic dance music here, destroying the enemy team's medics Uber charge. And this lightning strike through the medic set might bolt an additional idea of maybe having a crack here at a suicide wave, though Bot mode is staring them down with a sniper rifle. Soapy Meister's in behind. Bot mode takes a third one, make that a hat trick, but Soapy Meister is chasing.
Oh no, did he go for the spoon? I don't think he really kind of worked out there, and will go down to the crossbow of Zilly, but I mean, damage done. They still holding on to this mid, and it might finally, the clock will turn their way.
Finally, Lolga is still on half HP. They were a little bit complicit there in shooting him down with ancillary pressure damage, but ultimately no protruding factor to clean that medic up, and they are nearing this equilibrium here in the damage numbers. Logan always very weak on HP.
Kobe hates snipers, and he is just He's tries on the sniper to get on top of Jay, yeah, but doesn't really find the kill, however. Will knock him off his perch. A little annoying for Jay. They pop off Uber, actually. They're straight on top of Logan. Logan, nice surf, though. Have you considered medic, my friend? Yeah, he gets out of that really quickly to say an Uber charge was right on top of him.
That was wonderfully executed, and now that also allowed this much needed space to come out on top here on the point and claim that. But this headshot! I wanted to say remove the stickies by a scout, but you can also remove the stickies by simply headshotting the enemy demo down. Dingo is now.
It's just these snipers. Dingo actually holding the. Okay, yeah, it's definitely these snipers. Yeah.
It's definitely the snipers.
Oh my god! Definitely. Just keep going. You know what? Just cut out the other classes. Change the map. Oh my god! He gets the kill. The snipers have done big close. It's come to a melee. Jesus. Oh, that's it. Change the map. Change the classes. It's CP orange now. This is snipers only.
Good night, my friend. You're all going to wither away. I think he's on a 9k or something like that, or an 8k. Sorry, I don't want to have him on such a perch, but I saw him jumping over this little hill there and cracking the skull open, and now Zilly already just the earliest pipe, and you see the impetus on Kobe jumping in soon thereafter. Now bot mode is going to come close to double digits, and you know what that means? The enemy team's pulse is going to hit triple digits.
Oh no, they forgot about Jay. Everyone's forgetting everything. It's Alzheimer's. Jay will finally go down to Chris, evading the house, and well, it's 30 seconds left, and you've got a sniper to kind of walk into as well. I think you just need to pretend he isn't there. You know, he's like the boogeyman. He only does damage if you believe.
You know what you say in the other game mode that I won't mention? You just walk through, he can't headshot all of us. Maybe bot can definitely do that. And now Slemnish and High Five, they're walking forward. Jay finishes off Soapy Meister, and bot mode is still pressured from Slemnish. They do scare out the enemy team sniper because he wants to preserve his own kill streak. Still on 9 kill streak, that is indeed. Dingo is jumping him though, doesn't really find a venue.
Oh god, they really want bot mode. They want him bad, but he just baits a scout in. He's like just the tasty sort of bait for them to go for, and he's done his job just by kind of making a tantalizing sort of hope objective there. Popping on Uber, they're right on top, 97%, 98, 99, no full Uber. High Five gets the brunt of this,
Logan is
but there's nobody really here to kind of defend that, and Dingo might go down here, will go down. High Five, he's one scout in a lonely world, 2 scouts join the fight. Chariot but one horse is being knocked down. He's brought down low, gets a crossbow. I5 is surviving for so long. They actually kill off the chariot driver himself. And Artis, I mean, you get 3 lock-in loads,
Not enough. They had to gallop out in some haste to preserve themselves for the next fight, but that was a bit too eager. Honestly, a 4-1, I don't want to say hard fought by the entirety of like a G6, because I can tell you one thing on this deciding round. Very hard fought by bot mode, who is on a 9k in the matter of, 30 seconds, literally destroying everything that moves.
Oh my god, and you know what? It wasn't even bot mode who started this war. Jay was the one who fired first, but...
Don't start the war you can't win.
Yeah. Oh my days. Like, a lot of stock has changed all of a sudden. Like a G6 have gone up. Sniper has certainly gone up. If you're watching TF2, that has gone up. What a wonderful game. And we get treated to a 3rd game now in this series here, Domato.
It's also very telling of this entire LAN experience, I can tell you that much. We have already seen a panoply of wonderful games being played out, and this is really the culmination to show and to see that, yes, regional rivalries are mostly what we're here for, but also this NA derby has some heat, to say the very least. I have a quick cursory glance at the corresponding logs.
That can't be right. I'm looking at the... I immediately just look at the LOL guy deaths against Zilly as well. That can't be right. Yeah, refresh the log, add a number. Something's gone wrong here.
It's also very nice of LOL guy. What I always say, you don't want 0 deaths on Medic. You want to have 1, so you can have a KAD. And a 14.0 KAD is definitely something to tell your friends about.
This is correct. This is real. This is an actual... I mean... Oh, well, I can tell you what went wrong there. Look at the difference of medics there. Case closed. This is like the easiest diagnosis I've ever seen in TF2.
I mean, we can also add to this diagnosis and say that literally everyone was complicit in killing the enemy team's medic there. You see Soppimeister topping the charts. Well, you can't see that on our little sheet there for the logs. So I'm telling you, he has 5 medic deaths afterward. The secondary soldier comes in and also has 4 medic kills. So the soldiers are responsible for 9 deaths from not LOL guy, the other medic, from Zilly.
How the hell did the game even be, just begun to be that close with such the differences in medic stats? I guess it goes to show the different philosophies about like who should be up and whether or not who should be backing out there. But my God, yeah, it's just the heals are still managing the same. Even the Uber charges are they're quite a bit different. But I'm shell shocked. I'm gobsmacked. I'm fascinated.
We are everything. We are all sorts of ways. It's also a not that high differential, I would say. I mean, it's 20 in terms of total kills, 20 kill differential, and you see 4-1 is quite a dominant scoreline, abstractly speaking, if you look at it like that. But yeah, if a medic goes down that often, let's have a cursory glance, though. He only dropped once on Zilly, so maybe that is some convalescent measures. LOL guy has, paradigm there to walk off, since he has way more heals himself. Let's look at the damage per minute stats for a change, and it isn't any demo even close, nowhere to be seen. I think he's on the 3rd position, so I guess that's right. But, bot mode has how many? Okay, 9 headshots, but he has a lot of total damage. Yeah,
a lot of scouts being involved in. Keep in mind as well, one of these soldiers switched off to a scout at some point during the game. I think it was high 5. So, the stats don't always tell the full tale here happening in this game. But, what can you say? I'm trying my best to deviate away from this medic stat and the difference. I think this leads more into the fact that when like a G6 have the mid control point and they have the Uber charge, they were the masters of just using the Uber, aggressive onto Zilly, and then just cleaning him up. I think it must have happened like 7 times, it felt like, in this game, where they just used the Uber as soon as they saw a medic and just got the freest medic kills of their lives, and it just kept happening over and over and over again.
I mean, I will build upon the foundation that you laid a little bit, abstractly in front of me, since, yeah, he has a lot of deaths, but I would say the brunt of those deaths definitely came in the last 2 rounds, and especially in the last round, since they caught him out at least 3 to 4 times with these uber advantage pushes, which were only then opened up by the soldiers being flung high up, and Soapymeister always on top of Jay. Then the complementary soldier of like a G6 was mostly trapping in the enemy team's combo, and the scouts were simply plowing through. So very difficult really for medic class there to stay alive, since he doesn't have a rocket launcher or a pipe launcher to narrow himself out of there. But you know what, Turbo, as you are processing those logs, I am. What's the next map? Okay. Well, anyway, we're heading straight into process here as the decider, and it is a 1-on-1. I'm not 100% sure who could influence the tiebreak or tiebreaker map here, I should rather say, as much, but I would probably say the top dogs, so the top seed, so probably like a G6 picked this. We just say it is like that. And do you think it favors them?
Well, if we're going off the Sunshine map earlier, I think I like the fundamentals a bit more on Ball's land team, if I'm perfectly honest. But, I mean, it's a different playground. You have a little bit more of a friendly time when it comes to like scouts and soldiers. They feel a bit more comfortable on this map. I think they have a lot more foothold. I mean, I would say, like, not to say that the Demoman has the most awful time on this map. It's probably the most popular map of the LAN. I've certainly seen enough matches on it, let's put it that way. But really, it's kind of contention between the group stage to see who is the best at this map. Everyone kind of just taking points and rounds and scrims off each other when it comes to process. So honestly, I couldn't tell you.
To be honest, I will make my major judgment of the very first map that we've seen between those two teams played out in this very concrete matchup on Sunshine, since the main advantage really that Ball LAN team gained was picking out players outside of this Uber, Chris going down, Logan going down, you know, all these ancillary players being a little bit picked up. But here it's much more difficult, I would say, since you have to clamp down the enemy team from the high ground and then literally have them all conglomerate up upon the same location, since otherwise you're simply being blocked by the crates, and you can't really snag a scout in so easily. So I'm curious how they tackle this different map here. I would still take a shot out here and say, come on. Honestly, I'm putting on the clown nose here. Ball LAN team, they're going to have the second upset of this entire tournament, the biggest upset. They will simply slay like a G6 now.
It would be very interesting to see whoever team gets knocked down to the person there, because they're going to potentially meeting Froyotech in that lower bracket very early on, and with no safety net as well. It's got to be keeping some of these teams a bit quaking in their boots when you have to still face off against the big man in like a no holds bar sort of.
It's like the top 10 of most awkward meetups again. Like, oh, hello, yeah, we knocked you down. We're only here coincidentally. Oh, goodbye, Benny. I guess you can take the early flight.
I mean, maybe Banny's feeling a bit better about his himself here, because Ball Team is here to turn up and actually play some pretty good TF2. They're actually challenging the top dog of the LAN right now, which is like a G6, taking them to this third map. You know what? I'm going to agree with you. I'm just going to go with the fact that the Sunshine maybe proved a bit more things about the gameplay on the 5CP game mode. I think Ball LAN team have it in them. I think it's more down to how it comes to the discipline of these second points and whether or not we're backing out cleanly or like maybe hovering around a bit more. And for both of these teams as well, it seems when they hover over on Ball LAN team, they have a much better time of it compared to like a G6. And so I think by the fact that they have that sort of trump card in their back pocket, they're going to win out a bit more in the math. You know, there's just going to be more opportunities for them to convert these rounds. And you need to convert it because you've got that progressive config.
Exactly, and what I will also say is that I'm expecting a much higher scoreline here than on a Sunshine, since this last point here is a bit more open, a bit more forgivable for the attacking team. And what I still have in the back of my head, if we maybe had a total, calculation there, I think on Sunshine it was Ball LAN team beefing more of their last pushes than like a G6. They simply took it from the second point, and that basically netted them 2 instant pushes to last, and it was Ball LAN team struggling way more of finding entrances into the last. So they had more last push opportunities, and if they're able to once more on this map come into those positions and instantly nail them, then I think they're going to run away with it.
Is that the case? Are you looking at the logs? Because I'm like trying to revisit my my memory there, and I thought Borland team was actually having an easier time pushing last than. But then again, I think both teams were struggling. I don't think any rounds that were never won off the back of just a dissection of these full fat last holds. So maybe you are right in that sense.
No, I think you are also in that sense correct that yes, they beefed both their last pushes, but what I'm mostly thinking is that it was a 1-0 lead, for Borland team for 25 minutes, and they were on the last point of the enemy team for quite an extended period of time. But anyway, this is so much guesswork. I will say though, or if you had to pick a concrete player of the game so far for you, I think we were praising Artist on Sunshine a lot. On Product might have just been bot mode, honestly.
Yeah, I'm going to go with Artist. I think you know what? I'm actually going to be really toxic and just point out that it's an unlock. I feel like the difference maker between a lot of these teams now is this lock and load. I know I come off as super salty EU mode on full blast here, but it feels like you have to play this gun. This gun is just way too good. It picks out people from the sky. It's so much easier to aim, and you can obviously it has a lot more damage just playing off of it as well. You don't really feel that much of maybe it's a little more so on a game like Product where you need to spread your resources because you're constantly doing that toe back and forth fight, but you don't really miss that fourth shot too much over on the lock and load, just to equate how much easier it is to actually hit people with it.
No, you definitely don't miss it because you hit literally everything else is what you basically said. But I hope they start quite soon because I feel filthy. I feel defiled casting with you. I just hear me. Weapon is overpowered. I can't have my players bomb in. I want to see more soldier influential bombs and not them being plucked out of the sky. But it's also...
No, I think you mistake me, right? You know what? Okay. You're really not going to like this take, okay? I think the Euro should play with the lock and load.
Oh, okay, all right. I'm ready for that season. I'm not sure though if the entire community is ready for this far, but we're not in a test map cup here, Turbo. I'm not sure if you've mistaken it. We're on a LAN.
You can't help but take these ideas. There's a lot of ideas. This is what happens when you visit other cultures here, Domato. You exchange bread, you exchange recipes, ways of life and thinking. Do you not think that some of these EU players, QB's going to come back like, guys, I played that Banny config and, it ain't that bad. Ron's had this impression, when he went to an NA LAN, he said that progressive config is actually not too bad.
Yeah, maybe they do recognize that. They also recognize what we have. I mean, honestly, you've been very stereotypical. I'm going to spell it out loud. They will also say, I'm glad that I'm back here where we have actual food to eat, and they are definitely cooking it so far. No, honestly, I don't know, man. They're giving us so much time here for the meme talk. I think, honestly, for me, the Demo Man Showdown won't even be this much of a difference maker here. It's mostly for how you break stalemates, and it's on those soldiers. And I think I favor at this current time frame the a G6 soldiers more so. I was convinced by the ball soldiers, but I felt like they've been reined in by the enemy team.
Yeah, I think soldiers in general at this LAN have been obviously turned up to a notch. Not just the LAN buffer alone, but I feel like their LANs and their plays are trying to just going up a next level, really struggling for some teams. It was a little bit worrying. I was watching some of the scrims or some of the show matches, and it was looking a bit caveman TF2 for my liking. People just literally just jumping in, penciling forward, and then hoping that would work out. But it's actually got a lot more nuanced since as the LAN has turned out and gotten better. And honestly, at the forefront of this is probably Kobe and Soapy. I think they are the big strength to this a G6 result they've had so far. And it's more just the fact that the core principles of Ball LAN team kind of winning the gameplay for them rather than their soldiers. You think it would be the other way around. Usually the established teams are the ones where they've gone through all these scenarios and they know what works and what doesn't and what works well for their team.
Yeah, but
alongside.
you gotta also think that even if you have a mixed team, which Ball LAN team here definitely is, but a lot of invite players evidently, and people with a lot of experience, but you have so much playtime here on those LANs, so you can iron out the mistakes as you go, and that seems just like a well-oiled team that played a lot together. But what I also find spicy, aside from some Mexican food. Okay, now I can envy it. I'm not actually in North America, but what I still want to say, what I find spicier is that across all regions, it's very much the same. We are so much delayed on time. I can already feel the admins seething.
Yeah, that is LAN for you. People want toilet breaks, smoke breaks, breaks on breaks. My PC is breaking. Everything seems to require a break here over at LAN.
But I gotta say one thing. They have it is in the rules. You can have one tech pause and one technical pause during each map, but we haven't seen a technical pause at all. They're just going with the flow.
My friend, you need to watch some Froyo games then. I assure you that.
No, I mean in this match. Hello.
Okay, all right, fair enough. I was about to say, like, Banny uses a tech pause like I use a comma in a sentence.
I would maybe add on this a little bit of a fit occasion you gave me here. Maybe teams that lose have to use tech pauses, and I feel like both of those teams have won quite a lot, but you gotta turn it down a notch. Those two teams I have have the biggest impression are just teams that go with the flow most of the time.
What's more powerful then, a team rocking the lock and load or attack pause?
A tech pause where you go to the enemy team's demo PC, in its inventory and delete the lock and load.
You're right. I didn't think outside of the box there. You're thinking like, what can we do outside the TF2? Well, in that case, what if I send High Five over and he starts feeding Kobe like an enchilada or something, a really bad enchilada, and they just start losing land because of it.
Yeah, that would definitely be something. I mean, I was saying it earlier, it was usually the Europeans suffering from sometimes spicy food in unfortunate scenarios, but that was long in the past. I'm not 100%, not at all sure what they're waiting for here.
They're waiting for that spicy food. Somebody's ordered something to the PC and they still haven't received their food.
Maybe also to get everyone else in, it is... I have to repeat this, I have to iterate this. It is such a crazy, insane LAN experience so far. Like, the top 4 could literally be interchangeably removed and then be set on a different position. Like a G6 is obviously on the top position here, but...
Oh my god, we're starting!
Let's see. No. It's a bug. Oh no, we're starting!
We're actually starting! It's finally happened. No more meme talk. No more talks about enchiladas. We're actually going here, Domato.
Brilliant. And in the red, we have like a G6. They want to be in this top seed and still take the upper round. And the blue team is like a ball LAN team. Let's take it away, your Turbotops.
Alright, like a ball. What have you got? We're already balling to start our mid with Dingo jumping into the sky, faking out any sort of position for these scouts to commit onto him, and he just wants to lock down the PC area instead. So they have to keep him in the back of their mind, as he will potentially be flanking all the way around, and they're just playing grass over on the ball LAN team.
Wonderful skip jump. Wonderful skip jump.
Oh,
now
Dingo!
Soldier was shown on Dingo does not survive this as the sky was ablaze. Never mind though, Logan is not catching the heat of the battle. No, he is backing up to his own medic, and now they're chasing. They are still coming through, but Kobe is shot apart by Jay.
See, this is what I'm talking about with like caveman soldier bombs. They don't really come off as like too nuanced. They're just kind of just throwing in. High Fives was particularly weak. My god, Long Guy's just got an Uber right in the backside and will pop off his Uber charge to deal with the scout, double scout Uber. They're chasing them out. They do realize they're Ubered themselves, They could just hang about.
That was wonderful though, this rotation very, very well recognized that they didn't have a soldier to spot it early, and the stickies go on the choke, the players go on their each respective flanks, and let's see, Ubers are equal and it's only really a pressure cooking game. Dingo is jumping through.
Yeah, so they clear out the stickies from the choke, instead just go from sewers anyways, as they're now going to do tried and true love classic of EU land, which is just slow pushing it in from this suicide. With High Five going on the flank though, then Samus following him as well. That's completely ruptured this push attempt, and now they have to deal with the backlash of this choke push. They do keep Kobe stuck inside that PC room, however, and the respawn should be kicking in round about now.
And that backlash could turn into a whiplash, as already Logan is jumping in. He doesn't have Uber yet. He is completely nuking him out of the sky. I hope the Rocky Mountains are safe, because they're doing some definite mining explosions here. I can tell you that much. Logan was keeping himself in this fight, and that was a car. Like, he was just catching the Zilly there, honestly.
How did they not have Uber charge built in time? They basically, I think they popped later than all the ball land team in that mid fight previous. So they should have had it first, but they kind of shocked them and surprised them over on the ball land team, and now they're stuck at last.
And heretofore, they can still build this Uber advantage. You see those Lemnish on this defensive, longest shooting and rooting marksman. Maybe he can find a decent sideline, but Lolguy has Uber up now.
Yep, send the use right out of the gate straight away. First point of call, take out that sentry gun, and second point of call, immediately get into heaven, start taking the fight to them, but they might lose out their demo man pretty early. Artist keeps himself alive, and you're going to need him if you want to keep that last point defender. They even switch out to a heavy weapons guy for a mere moment, as they want to just push out the remaining players. With Logan going down there so early, Domato, there's no real chance they could have made that last push happen.
It was also a very simple rotation through the panic room, and they were not able to push the enemy team.
Almost going to last! Almost going to last!
Oh, they blocking
the point! They get the back cap!
Completely uncontested, snacking it away underneath their noses. Turbo, you can have the most perfect rotations on last, but bot mode says, I don't care at all.
Last is just too difficult to crack, so everyone is just playing dirty. They're fighting at seconds, they're trying to win second so hard, and sometimes they're just bypassing second, and that will be a dirty round on the board for like a G6. But it
Soapy is so fast.
Soapy, excuse me? Okay, well, Soapy
Did you see
out
the speed limit, my friend? You're not in Europe, you're not in Germany, you can't go all the way. Like, he was just breaching through the Mach wall, and this axiomatic threat is now what they have to deal with. Since no demo man.
They're still fighting though. They don't care. They actually think that Artist isn't really important for them. Dingo will go down to the demo man of Logan though, and demo man advantage for like a G6, but they still toeing the line whether or not they want to commit back in. The soldier Kobe following up, gets some nice damage and some space for his team to make the push back into this midpoint, but keep in mind they capped, and they will get the respawners coming back to their team. Zilly pops Uber this time, and Lolguy responds with his own Uber, and the respawners again should be coming back for the All team just that little bit quicker. Chris goes.
Jason in the front of glowing players, he doesn't care at all that you're invincible if you can't hit me as well, and now the G6 are turning on their big brawl hands as they are coming through. You can see keeping them at bay, and now charging through. Artist delivered on a silver platter to Logan, and he's coming now through with a little bit of a skip jump here. Kobe securing this ground. It's wonderfully played. Players are forward, and then the rest of their team is coming soon thereafter.
Yeah, the mix part of the mix team is showing up there. Not everybody on the same page. Not really a clean cancel from Ball Land team. And oh my, speaking of not on the same page, Soapy Mice is going to get picked off here when really they should be building this advantage and ready to push in.
Not concise enough on those calls, you could definitely say that, but I mean, on last it is a very stable meta, not though if Logan is peeking through the one area, but some stickies are definitely deterring him from walking out any further. Lolguy takes some damage. I don't see any sniper on the field. Jay is only really building a sentry right now.
Slimnish going to get picked off here over on the flank. Dingo will clean up that kill, and we'll go back to the respawn. They're bullying the sentry gun away from this land, and now they could maybe throw in a soldier. Yep, Soapy Meister's in heaven, but he's gonna get punished for it, and Dingo kinda takes the bait and gets picked off by Kobe as well, but then he gets picked off. It's a game of trading cards here, and it's even trades between both of these teams.
The soldiers are truly in heaven, and that is the difference between Sky, since now they have been sent to the respawn queue. Soapy was catching the brunt of those preemptively fired projectiles going through this panic room, and afterward being panicked indeed. But we see bot mode switching to sniper.
Alright, Alright, let's see. What has this man got in his sniper rifle? Is it a winning bullet? Is it a
He's not
bullet?
moving at all. He's just staying
He's
at the moment.
really deciding which bullet he wants to use, okay?
The 25, so it might take some time, and maybe he was also adjusting IRL. We do not really have the vision on that, but he's really trying to give Logan some coverage here, and baiting Slamdish in. Doesn't take the bait though.
Yeah, and I think they should be aware that the sniper is on the field now. I think that was the first shot ringing out. Bot mode going from 1. See if he can get anybody, but it should be kind of easy for Dingo to avoid this. He's got the splash on his side, and they're actually supporting a lot of bot modes moving into 1, but they finally now force him out of this issue. Jay removing the sentry gun appropriately to kind of deal with this sniper just that bit better.
Zilli also recognized how he had to play, was hiding behind the little wall there on this main area, and his entire team was encompassing him to do so. The J sentry gun is a little bit further advanced as we speak. Chris, Logan and Lolga in the lobby. Let's see where bot mode is positioned. Still opting for 1.
Yep, he's gone back to 1 now. The sentry gun shouldn't spot him, I think. And yeah, gets the shot onto Artist. That's a Devilman down. That should free up a lot of kind of room for
He's going for
like
it
a G6 to get some sort of spam
He's
here.
going for it again! Can he hit another shot? So much damage, numbers being flung up high, and now the sentry is also very weak, instead being repaired though by the engineer. Nothing else. That was very, very dangerous.
Yeah, they finally spam out that sentry gun, and they even get a kill onto Slemnish as well. Silly goes down. They finally actually take out the pieces away from Ball Land Team, and they can just pop off their free Uber. Free Uber for you, and you, as we will get this last point for me, says G6.
And we take that on a takeout, honestly. We are so fast, we don't have time to stay around for dinner. I'm sorry, we can still give you the money though for the taxi, but that taxi might lead them into a 2-0 a disadvantage on the total score board. Artist having his head surgically removed afterward. A perfect pipe from Logan into the back of Slamnish. I do think that was, and that opened up so much space. The sizzling cacophony was the medic falling down eventually, and we enter the third mid-fight.
Okay, no skill check for Artist on Demoman at the start of this mid. So Soapy's instead going to go into the opposing enemy PC room as they try to just bunch up and ball up here over on Ball Land Team. See if they can just puncture a Soapy-less like a G6 team, and they just back out. Losing bot mode is just too much for them, and they're just going to keep it clean here. They are 2 rounds up, a nice sort of hay forward to go into the later parts of this game, so they've got no real risk to kind of keep pushing forward here.
Indeed, maybe we're entering this little bit of a drive-by frag from Soapy Meister, but also
Slemnish, he's walking in, he's waltzing in, he will take the waltz out as he
waltzing
will get cleaned
Matilda.
up.
Well, the Australians are not here to serve this sort of dominance here, but I was talking about it earlier. 20 minutes still on the clock, but that might be already a thought, food for thought here, slowing it down on the red team, since you have a 2-0 lead. That is quite substantial, and you can start like ticking down the clock from here on.
Alright, Slemnish, he's rocking the sniper class. He has to take the long walk though from the respawn.
And bot mode is on spy. Out, by the way. Not checking. Out, mind you, in PC.
Yeah, he's just setting up the perfect disguise now. Has to walk in, hopefully not get clipped by any Dingo's sort of rockets here. He's rocking
Can you please cross out? He's scaring. Like, please, dude, walk out.
He just doesn't want to go out cloak. Cloak and dagger takes a long time to set up, my friend, and just they're actually going from sewers, so bot mode has still quite a bit more of a pace to track if he wants to get on top of this medic.
Maybe he's even going to get well caught out. Never mind. Slemnish is now re-entering sewer. And
he immediately bumps into Slemnish though. He takes a knife by shanks him in the alleyway. And yeah, no sniper.
Is that a Highlander? I was... oh no, the force comes out onto Zilli. Taking so much damage in front of the sewer, and soon thereafter the players follow Logan, flung into the sky, meeting his maker almost, and this Uber doesn't really gain enough traction. Chris catches the earliest pipe of Artist, and they're still keeping their players alive. Zilli very weak on HP.
Yeah, both of these medics getting forced by these opposing soldiers, that when all the chaos was being unrung between both of these two teams. The difference though is Kobe jumps in, gets 2 kills alongside his medic bomb.
And honestly, it is very simple to atomize their thoughts of repushing this, since one force comes out, and then the projectile players are flung into the sky, and Logan didn't really gain the traction, but the soldiers did, and now they're on the brink of entering the last.
I've never been so baited by a Sunshine pick in my life. That Sunshine performance has completely got me the wrong prediction. I think it's looking very nice here from Leica G6. Very dominant, and kind of a wake-up call for all naysayers out there.
They still have 18 minutes though, and we are part of the naysayers, so I will also give us a little bit of a pat on the shoulder here. I mean, still 18 minutes for a Ballan team to take it back, and Zilly only then is reaching onto the 100% on the Uber stakes, so the medic...
Oh my god, no, Logan just got a random pipe onto Dingo. I'm changing teams, and I suggest Ballan team do the same as well.
Oh, they're even coming out on top here. Artist, another perfect pipe into the enemy team, and that is 3 players down. Dingo is spawning, and they're already entering this second point, and if bot mode is not on the field, he cannot threat this backcap.
I'm changing teams again. This is
completely wrong. Out. You're evicted out of this venue. No, but now they're already eyeing up this mid fight.
Alright, bot mode, he's rocking the sniper class, he's in that spot, and not really finding anything, however.
Switch to the Artist team, honestly. Like, Artist is already insanely strong coming in. Oh, that was Logan though.
Yeah, High Five is behind though, so that is going to be a bit of a headache. Bot mode can't really snipe High Five playing back there though. The exchange of Ubers during all this. Artist gets dropped during all that. How embarrassing. And High Five, he came collapsing in, hoping that this Uber would go much better, but losing Artist and then backing out, Solo YOLO was just an easy serving platter for G6 to make this comeback.
That was almost lazy play to not only not catch Artist, but also leaving High Five dry out there for everyone else to snack. And Artist is now bombed, Kyobi is down, but they have to conglomerate upon this point. Lolga already getting the cap time, Slemish flung into the sky, being deleted. No scouts on the field, Soapymeister still in behind, tackling the enemy soldier, the rivalry. And that is a 3-0 for Leica.
Yeah, they're showing every single form of flavour of failure here for Ballan team. They can't really hold a 100% Uber charged, lockout of last. They can't keep their pushes going in a straight line direction without losing people, and they're not really dealing with the kind of balling up nature of like a G6, ironically enough.
Can we quickly open scoreboard, by the way, at the inception of this third point? What is Boatmode and Chris? What are they having for lunch, honestly? Crazy points, crazy performance, and now we enter the fourth fight on this mid right now. High Five already is the earliest victim of this fight. They are trying to plow forward here though onto Artist, who can't really protect himself, and Zilly as well has to only bolt players from a million distance, but they don't win that win.
Kobe is staying alive for way too long. He must is either a credit to like his timing as a soldier to jump in and keep himself alive and just get those couple extra rockets and extra eyeballs on him, or the fact that maybe ball team dropping the ball on cleaning up these soldiers.
Oh, Soapy was not hitting the meme spoon, and he's flung into the sky. Zilly here, very dangerous. Not only if you're a medic main, but also for everyone else who is watching this wonderful game. Still threadbare in front of our eyes is this weakness maybe of Ballan team, but they might need to change something up. They're all 6 on this plateau area, and no one really trying to get cheeky off Soapy Master going on.
When I see a meme spoon attempted, I think two things. Either A, that team is feeling incredibly confident and they're just going for, frankly, what should be a more annoying and harder to pull off kills, at least in these sorts of situations. Or B, they're tilted out of their mind and they're literally not even taking the game super serious at that point.
You really think that on the 3-0 they're so tilted?
No, I think it's more the column A here than the column B.
Okay, let's see if they can proliferate for even further on here. And I wanted to say it early, like Jay and Slemnish are opting a little bit for PC, don't really find anyone to call out bot mode on his main class.
You notice where they're holding Zilly this time. They're aware that Soapy is tasting the idea of well, not only is there a sniper as well, but Soapy wants to get these meme spoons, so they're actually holding close to IT there. I wonder if this is just the answer to dealing with these meme spoons. And Kobe, will get the pick onto Slemnish on that PC. Yeah, oh my god, Chris just walked in and claimed his 3 kills, 3-second kill as well. Chris is still walking forward. He hasn't let go of the W key. And
it forces the enemy team, and not even Soapymeisters clean up. They lose Artist as well. Only 2 players left in the vicinity for the blue faction, and the red brigade will walk all over them. Honestly, Chris and Logan on the front. Now everyone cleaned up. The second point capped as we speak. Concurrently though, the Uber pop signed Slemnish, signed by Logan, and that is a 4-0 already. And you see, Turbo, the weakness. Yes, to dodging the meme spoon and the sniper sideline, holding in top IT, you give up all the space on the second and this freedom of the enemy team, just, you know, rotating 2 projectiles into PC, and then the rest of the players just walk through a choke.
I mean, in theory, shouldn't that mean it's harder to push PC because they've got all these buffs and they've got all these players around the area as well? So they actually force them into the harder push, and they still won anyway on like a G6.
Yeah, because they pushed through choke. I think that was more of the importance there. But I mean, 5-0 here? Question mark.
All right. Well, it's still not over until the fat lady sings, and we've got 12 minutes left and the progressive convict to play through here. But they're looking for a shutout over on like a G6. They clean up high 5. Artist finally gets that Hail Mary pipe onto Logan, and we'll get that pick off now. And look at them, they're all bunched up. They're begging for a lock and load. Can't quite find it.
Come at me, and this time they had a different approach on the face of Barlan team. They opted more for their own right side, and the soldiers were flung in the sky. I was almost ready to say a bit uninspired, but were able to clump the enemy team into their own choke, so they really couldn't trust to the left because there was a scout on top, and that ended up working out, especially with this stray pipe catching the enemy team's soldier. But now they have to be fast, since 4-0 down is not something to snuff at.
Well, High 5 will go down trying to brute force this, but you've got some silver linings here in this very dark cloud for Ballland team. Keep in mind you're playing the progressive config, so you can make this comeback. It'll be a legendary comeback, and we need to pack some sandwiches to see it, but it is possible. So don't feel time pressured here. Don't be like you're in EU land and you're already dividing the amount of time by the amount of rounds that you need, and you're clocking in and you're running crits because you want to speed up the time and all this. You can just, you know, readjust your mistakes, kind of zero in on what you've been doing wrong, and just kind of start playing some clean TF2 for 5 rounds in a row.
And you're still having your eyes on your collection of
memes
to post on the Twitch chat.
That's not clean TF2. High 5 has got a dirty weapon. Another dirty weapon here.
So many dirty weapons. Let's see if they can get the clean up though with the dirty weapons now. Slemnish and High 5 are crossing through this choke. High 5 is appending himself into the sky, but being appended by the enemy team instead. Now it is a counter jump from Kobe.
Did Soapy pick up the gun? Okay. Soapy wants a taste of the... I can't even remember what this gun is called, but like it's oh no,
Beggar's Bazooka.
He's thought better of it now.
It's the Beggar's Bazooka Turbo.
Oh right, okay. I'll make sure I remember that for my next TF2 test.
But beggars can't be choosers. They can be fraggers. However, as Kyobi is deleted by Artist, and they are still opening this up. This space J very weak, but isn't really clean up.
High 5 is going to push from the flank. He's going to get a couple of taps, and then that's going to push him out of the situation. Jay, I'm not going to blame Jay in that situation. He was actually hoping probably for his team to back him up there. They just got a pick earlier, but he was just left hissing in the wind. Where is my team?
Anyway, as you are using PH18 vocabulary, I'm looking more about this choke push here, as you saw that it was a sizably earlier pop out of Zilly, and they're being forced out concurrently, but not if High 5 and Slemnish have something else to say about. There's domination ringing out from Logan and Lolga onto High 5, and now though it's 3 frags in their own favor. They're turning this around.
Okay, the scouts double charioting in. Soldiers is definitely keep expending his aggressive foot forward to kind of buy space for his team. They can't finally get a kill onto Logan. Bot mode comes jumping and charging in and trades his life for the down man pick, but more importantly, just takes the wind out of the sails of Ballland team, as they were kind of really snowballing there.
Even if you think on what platform you're playing TF2.
Oh my god, Sophie's just had
they're without Steam. No, the Steam is added though, as Dingo is very weak instead, and now Jay is dominated by 2 opposing players, but High 5 leaves through the rollout. They cut their losses.
Okay, could have gone bad, could have gone worse for both teams during that little charge. Oh, Slamish is going to go down to the not the lock-in mode, the Iron Bomber, I should say. Maybe I am hate-held.
Maybe, but also no irony involved. The Iron Bomber can definitely help you since it stays stationary there, and they're trying to bust open the one area. Yes, indeed. High Five is already doesn't hit the rocket door onto Lolga. That could have been a drop otherwise, but they're running out with the tail tucked in between their legs, and Lolga happy, very fortunate as well to survive that onslaught.
Yeah, bot mode actually rocking the sentry gun on the low ground on the left-hand side there, but that does mean that one is very susceptible to pushing out like that. They really need someone to lock it down if they want to keep on top of that sort of sentry gun placement. And now they have to deal with the remnants here on Ball Land Team, kind of clean up players where they can and do, and get their respawners back out of the queue.
It's a different ballpark now. If I would be in their team, I would get the strat tag and the motivation tag up now. If bot mode is on engineer, he can't snipe you down on sniper, literally everyone. But now they're having some funny tag in the chat. They can do that, but it is only really a dispenser pick for artist.
Excuse me, dispenser and teleporter double wombo. Okay, we've used the Uber charge off the back of that dispenser pick. I'm not so sure. Well, they do get a Logan pick. They do get cap time as well. And yeah, now they have maybe some space to come back into this. Dingo gets more cap time and the force as well. So much value is being had from these little pick clicks.
And now it is even more so. Very perilous for the team pushing out. Chris caught out by a combination of a soldier hiding on top and Slamnish being close range alongside with High Five. That was wonderfully executed, and that nets 30% in the Uber stakes. Speaking of advantages for Zilly, so much cap time still to play for and 6.5 minutes, but realistically you need to only really tie out the time. Did you see that pipe on the level 1 set? Oh, the pipe!
Oh my god!
That was absolutely insane! Stretching through! Did you see that, Turbo? That was a lock and load pipe.
I'm putting that on my campaign poster. Bandits, filth, how dare you! No, actually, I think we should play it. It's pretty funny, isn't it? But still, that's the first round on the board for Ball Land Team, and yeah, it's not a ball. It's actually a pipe that's making the difference here.
2 pipes. That was, I don't want to say the most crazy thing that I definitely saw this year. 1 pipe on the level 1 sentry gun, and then the second straight pipe hitting the exact face of Lawyer.
So he wants to get rid of the demo man, but Artis takes the skill check this time.
Not outdiff this time.
And they don't get the early sticky trap onto Dingo. Instead, they do back off cleanly here on like a G6. They are not as spicy as Ball Land Team. They will not stay when they lose their players early.
Definitely not, but you can see now maybe Artist is coming back into the game. We see 6 stickies, 3 split apart on the choke, on the close range area there to the sewer, but they're split open in an open space. High Five jumped through. He's spamming from afar with his soldier buddy there, with his fellow compatriot. Chris doesn't really chase them out. Artist only in the choke. It's only a pressure game right now.
Well, it doesn't really look like they're playing too much pressure. They're just kind of hanging out a joke. Everyone's just really doesn't know what to do at this point over on Ball Land Team. Doesn't look like they want to push from sewer at least. They're not really making a play too much on IT. Actually, they're completely ignoring IT over on like a G6. They'll just give them all the room in the world. And
but there's no one to shoot. There's no one to shoot though for Slamnish and High Five. They're slowly pinning them in though. It is a soldier taking a decent amount of spam here. Kobe very weak instead. Do they recognize that little bit of a deficiency in the damage numbers? Now they're spamming though Al-Qaeda, but no one really is falling down to the ground.
I mean, they've given so much room. Dingo's jumped in. I was about to say that okay, they will get the trade out against Kobe over on that low ground. High Five is going to trade against Botmo. That was very nice by Botmo to make it a trade in that 2v1 situation. They're still going aggressive here. Jade gets completely skill checked by Chris and takes the 2-shot to the face. And now they're kind of stuck in sewer. And this is very awkward.
This is very much... Maybe they can agree on a mutual ceasefire here. Like, I don't know what is happening since you can't even get points when you just stay in sewer, and also Dingo is falling. They still have to come out here. Soapy is all the way in behind their own team. They're coming now to this choke. Zilly is only really timidly looking at players that may be there, but he's with Artis. It is so bizarre.
Hey, Soapy, he's going to take the health pack and he's going to take 2 people's attentions. Kobe's going to try and back up his boy, but just feeds as well. They use the Uber charge over on Zilly and the combo player. If they don't lose Jay here, this can be good for Ball Land team, but they need to get on top of them now. They actually get the pick onto Chris. I like this play. Don't focus so much on the medic, and they will use the Uber charge now. They split off a little bit. Demoman out of the fight. Over on Logan, bot mode, making something happen here. Bot mode, uncontested, unnoticed, and maybe will finally go down, but Zilly has gone down and just taken too much damage from that bot mode engagement, and my god, bot mode doing a lot for his team in the past minutes or so.
Also, drive-by frags from Kobe make that a hat-trick for him, as indeed a hat-trick is what he's pulling out of the hat there. Like 1 rocket on 2 players being eradicated at the conclusion of that entire fight, and now they're even elongating Artists and Dingo's spawner, not spawns, but they are having a back spawn only.
I can't give credit to Lol guy as well, keeping his composure throughout all these sort of situations and just knowing when to pop, who to stick his targets to, and just keeping. No wonder the man's actually got 3 dominations going. Oh, I cursed him, I cursed the Ball Land. High five, jumps into the jugular, and look at them, they're running them over now. Quick, everybody buy lottery tickets. Don't buy lottery tickets. I don't know how this curse works.
This curse works if you just look at the sky and you maybe have a weather forecast, and the weather forecast is, oh, I have a double soldier, just don't look at the sky, you know. What you don't see doesn't see you, but it wasn't the case there. They were nuked. Everyone was really dying there, Lolga as well, and now they have 50% Uber or even more so, 6% Uber advantage. Let's see where this next Uber advantage push trails them to be, maybe even through IT. Yes, I can see that Slamnish and Jay being buffed up, slowly walking forward.
We're going IT. We're all going IT. We're just completely overwhelming Kobe. We're popping off Uber in an Uber advantage situation. This is what usually they're stronger. They're very strong at these sorts of overrunning chariot pushers. They have to, however, contest second with the cap. They have to cap it before they can even start picking at this last point. You're seeing the strength of that Sunshine finally in these remnant parts of the game with 1 minute left and only 3 rounds to claim back. Do we have the stories of the greatest comeback here at this LAN?
We definitely do. This would be an absolute crazy fight. Like the sort of momentum, if you believe in the Church of Momentum, the Sect of Momentum, then this is with the Ball Land team. But you have to keep in mind, yes, they have to gain those 3 rounds now, but also they can't allow the enemy team to even once their own last point, so have to play it very aggressive but also methodical and check their backlines not to be backcapped by a bot mode. But we enter the 7th mid fight as Dingo is already bombing through very, very high octane jump.
Dingo keeping himself alive and also baiting Kobe back. They also get a nice kill from Slemnish to actually clean up Soapy there in what should have been an advantageous position. They could cut off Lol Guy, but High Five is just way too low. Doesn't think he wants to do this. They should definitely be pushing this. Why are they scared? You can do it, Ball Land team. Have confidence. You've got this.
Raise your hands for the Ball team, and now it may be even basketball for them as they're already having some dunking onto Lol Guy, forcing that Uber out.
It's way too late. It's way too late. They had so many advantages on their back post here, but they just spent way too much time. Slemnish trades out with Kobe on the flank, or I should say Soapy kind of cleans up and backs up his boy.
Logan's so weak though.
What? Oh, High Five just completely fed, and now Jay's going to feed as well. Oh,
honestly,
no.
The Kobe pick turns to Kobe for them, since they're slowly losing their advantages here. Dingo still in a 1v2 scenario versus bot mode versus Soapymeister, distracting the viewpoints a little bit in the IT area and being finally able to be cleaned off. Never mind, he's just averting them. He's dodging them.
Oh my god, Dingo's buying so much time. Bot mode actually. Oh my god, he gets a slip pass and actually does eventually go down, but he bought so much space and so many souls away from that midpoint. Slemnish didn't quite get the memo though. He's going to get hate trained upon and will go down, and now they have this second point to deal with. High Five trying to do a jump into the sky. Oh my god, everyone is sick of him. They've all just jumped onto him. It's Dragon Ball Z on second. They're all fighting in
That was so crazy. 4 players, and the last point
Chris
looks
is in.
very, very Lucullian for the enemy team. Yes, for like a G6, they're already in here and have one player. They're changing. They are exchanging on the left side. Let's see.
How did Artis go down? Nobody's paying attention to Kobe. They're too busy looking at shiny Ubers to not turn around. Dingo goes down as well. Zilly has gone down. Slemnish
but they're coming out on top here. The soldiers are still coming through.
Samus come back into the fight. They're fighting from point. There's nobody there to block. It's a 5th round. And no time limit. It's over.
It's over. GG. We were trusting in the big comeback. It was, I'm not saying anticlimactic, but overstaying their welcome there, honestly, on this. Second point, also crazy how this four player in the air jumping all the way through such a daunting prospect, honestly, for the enemy team. But I mean, they're only turbo taps, only knocked down to the lower bracket. So for everyone who is a fan of a Barland team, then yes, they can have their eyes transfixed to maybe their upset story through the lower bracket area. But like a G6, they are still unbeaten.
All right, yeah, you're right. It is upper bracket, and they should be completely calm. This is not over for them. There is plenty of opportunity. But also at the same time, how the hell did they screw up second? Why did they not push? They were just sat there, and then when they finally pushed, I don't know, they must have held the scoreboard and like, yep, it's even now, it's fair, we can all jump in. And then when they lost players at second, for some reason, I don't know who possessed High Five and Jay, but they just jumped into a combo with 5 people and just got gobbled.
Can I say something? Chris has a 4.6 KD.
What the?
No, I just wanted to have a quick cursory glance on the numbers, and if you sort them by kills, all you see is red. At least the top 4 are all red. It was a crazy dominant fashion if you only look on kills. They were having, this little bit of a philosophy of, yes, we are the lower team and we have the comeback story, but sometimes that isn't 100% translated into the mere logs of it. But that was a dominant performance, not only from Chris, also from Logan. Demoman does a lot of damage. Demoman also does a lot of kills. Sounds a little bit like caveman philosophy, but we have a big kill differential this time around. What sticks out to you?
Well, obviously the difference in Demoman is completely polar opposite of what happened the Sunshine map. As Logan top in the charts here, I think he just feels a lot more comfortable on the process. Everybody on G6 look a lot more comfortable on process, at least compared to Ball and Team. Ball and Team, I don't think they have an idea about what they want to do on this second point. They just they meet this sort of stalemate, and I think obviously G6 are very, very defensive in like their back out procedures of mid. They lose a player, they're immediately out. They're not testing the waters, they're out of there. And they didn't really have a clean way of how they want to take these second points, at least not without like losing 2-3 people, that flank as well. I'm pretty sure the game plan for like a G6 on this process, for at least for second, was just wait for Ball team to make a mistake. They're going to throw somebody in. High Five is going to start foaming at the mouth, and he needs to feed, and he's going to jump in, and we're going to claim that kill and then just fight it from there. I did like, however, from Ball Land team, is like that second Uber, when they had the advantage and they just popped immediately in. This is what that was really nice about Sunshine, and they replicated it perfectly over on that one round they won over on the second point as well of this process. So that was good. I really like that.
Yeah, but at that level of play, it is very difficult to, indefinitely reciprocate and replicate it. But
yeah.
I mean, you're having so much strat and analysis talk. I don't want to cut you off. I give you 1 or 2 last sentences before I wrap this wonderful game up. If you have anything else to say, now is the time.
Bot mode was completely on fire. He was like patching up so many things for his team where it could have gone wrong. And Lol Guy is holy god. He's pretty good. Like, I think there were some lands or some might have been some online seasons where he didn't get to play, and I guess you could see like this like a G6 team is much better with him. And Ball Land team, they might feel like this is a loss. This is not a loss for them. There was some strengths here. They could just need to go back, look at the tape, and edit things, and they have that lower bracket final, and they could definitely make the run here.
And they can definitely realize maybe Process is not our home map this LAN around, but also it is very simple for the enemy team to check them PCs if they feel something is awry. But thank you for the big brain analysis. That was it from us on Essentials here for this wonderful matchup. Honestly, going all the 3 maps like a G6, running away with it on the 3rd map, but they were really giving it all. And I was and I will always be, most probably, be Domato. With me was TurboTaps, Samus on production. A quick shout out to our Witness Gaming boys from AU and YU on the Fireside there. The Europeans are still in this to win this, but that was it from us, and we will catch you in a day, I suppose. Tomorrow we will also be here on Essentials, but we will see you then. If we're still live, don't go anywhere. The lower bracket quarterfinal is coming up.